you may hate me, you may dislike me, you may celebrate the fact that I was under arrest when I've done nothing. You may celebrate the fact that I've had my rights taken away from me. But this isn't about me, this is actually about you. They're coming for your rights. What have I said that's outrageously racist? Show me. Our daughters are being targeted with heroin as a weapon and then prostituted. It's what we now know as grooming. This was when I was 20. What are you doing in Telford? She said, I'm ending it, Tommy. I'm ending it. I said, you're ending it? And then I thought, she's gone to kill him. Everyone's shit scared of him. When I was going up there, everyone was like, mate, you don't know what you're messing with here, bruv. Anyone who would talk to us or survivors' families were targeted. When they petrol bombed my car, I found out who it was. I actually had evidence of who it was. I identified who's on the phone, threatening to rape my children. No arrest. They left their own DNA. They attacked people in cars with baseball bats. Cars were blowing up. Houses blown. Every day on the news in Telford, another house was on fire. Police done nothing. I know that we're in a pivotal moment in this country's history and we do not have much time.
What does 𝐬𝐻 mean for Tommy Robinson? Just a quick one. I want to thank our main sponsors, 𝐵𝑎𝑟 Security. They're a UK-based security firm that cover the entertainment, industrial, corporate and construction industries. I'm going to leave the links to their Instagram and their website below in the description so you can contact them direct. You can also find my own social media platforms down there too. And if you've got this far and you haven't yet liked and subscribed to the channel, can I ask that you do so? It takes 2 seconds, costs nothing, and it helps us improve the experience for the guests and for those at home watching. Thanks again. Your support is greatly appreciated and I hope you enjoy this one. Tommy, happy St George's Day.
Happy St George's Day, mate.
I'm really interested what's been going on the past year or so of your life, and people will remember our first podcast, which was the first ever podcast I'd done. And I was very, very excited and I interrupted a lot because I was hell-bent on not going down the political route, and I didn't want to be the same as what everyone else does, wants to pick the obvious topics, and I just wanted to hear about Stephen Yaxley Lennon. So a lot of people might be tuning in thinking, last time these two spoke, Liam wouldn't shut up. Well, this is a very different subject matter, a very different podcast host, and it's going to be a very different conversation completely. So I've witnessed you being escorted from London, arrested, pepper sprayed in the face on the news. I've seen that you've had your Twitter account reinstated by Elon Musk. He then reduced the search ban, so you're now found by anybody that wants to search you. And I've seen since your Twitter account, because I want to start this interview from when you were reinstated on Twitter, and then we can go through step by step the events that have taken place right up until here and now, because it was only 48 hours ago you've had people in your hometown looking for you with drones, it would seem. So this is going to be an action-packed interview, and we're only talking about the last year of your life. So if you're happy to start with Twitter.
Yep. Twitter's been great. I can remember I was sat in Spain. You've come out there, you've been there. It's a beautiful place, isn't it? Our little location. But I was sat there and I always check online. I always check what's going on. My job is to keep up to date with the news. Yeah? One of those sources is Twitter. Even though I was banned from Twitter, I still check Twitter. And as I'm sitting there checking, I'm in this restaurant. Boom, 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 boom. I've checked and my account's there. And I'm sitting, I was having dinner. I was like, my account's back online. Like, at 𝐷 Robinson New Era, yeah? And I've looked, and then I'm like, when I had it, I was one of the first deleted in 2017, yeah? I was removed from Twitter, and I had 475,000 followers. And this new account's popped back up. It's the same account, but it's on 300,000 followers. And I've looked, and I'm checking, thinking, what's going on? But I don't have the password for it. I don't have access to it, yeah? I don't have the same email. I don't have the same phone number. So I've got the account, I'm looking at it, and then I'm thinking, is it definitely 100%? And then I've seen Elon Musk has commented about mine and 𝐬𝐻𝐫𝐿 account. So then I realised he's turned it back on. He actually made a comment underneath. He said, well, these accounts shouldn't be, unless they broke the law, they shouldn't have been deleted. Yeah? He's talking about our accounts, and then bang, it's back up. So I messaged 𝐬𝐻𝐫𝐿 saying, Katie, our accounts are back. And she said, what? And she didn't realise either. She was oblivious. But then I had to sit there, and then I was looking and thought, I've got my account back. And then I saw Katie tweet. And then I thought, well, I can't tweet because I can't access my account. So I've got this account and I'm itching, waiting to go. And the reason that, so people understand why it brought excitement to me is because when you're censored and deleted from every single social media platform, we managed to continue against all the censorship. I built a Telegram platform with 180,000 followers and we reach millions every week, yeah? I managed to divert our support base over to Telegram. And then I managed to divert our support base over to an American app called 𝐬𝐮𝐬𝐫𝐷𝐿. I built up 240,000 followers on an American app called 𝐬𝐮𝐬𝐫𝐷𝐿. So I could go live, I could still have my base and talk to them, but it's disheartening because you're not reaching the wider public. Your base are there, you're preaching to converted. Yeah? I get a buzz off challenging ideas, changing people's mind, making them think, awakening people. So when I got Twitter back, which is how many hundreds of millions of users, you can then reach the public again. So I was excited. And then I contacted someone in America who I knew was quite close with Elon Musk. And I said, I can't use my account. So although my account's back, how am I meant to use it? He messaged back saying, send me an email address. I sent him an email address. And then an hour later, boom, I got an email. Click here to reset your password. And then I was like, it's happening, right? When I say it's happening, we're back. I can go through my figures now. My videos were watched in the last 7 days by 10 million people on Twitter. I reached 52 million people's Twitter accounts. My followers have gone up 27,000 people in 7 days, yeah? So I am back. Our figures are showing we're back. We're reaching the public again. But I was excited. Couldn't use it. Couldn't tweet. It took me a few days, and then I was back on. And then I realised that I had a search ban. By a search ban, my tweets wouldn't come up. It's all hidden. Yeah, you had to go directly onto my account and click, so then you could see what I'm saying. Yeah, but it was better than not being back on Twitter. And it was only so that was a situation for 5 months, and literally 2 weeks ago, again, someone messaged saying, I found your account. Your search ban's gone. And then there's an app that you can check to see if you have a search ban. So I was checking all the time before, and you've got a search ban. It has a red mark. So your account's limited. And about 2 weeks ago, it was removed. But in every interview I've done and podcast I've done in America and in Britain, I've made the appeal because Elon Musk has talked about the importance of citizen journalism. Yeah, and I kept saying, Elon, if anyone watches this and knows him, what's the point in giving me back an account? If the point is that citizen journalism can get their message out, like today, for example, we're going to get it on today. I've just won a court case against the Metropolitan Police Force, yeah? I can now use my social media to tell them exactly what's happened. If I still had a search ban, you might be a member of the British public, you're watching it on the news, you can't find what I'm saying, yeah? What's the point in putting me back on? You can't sit there and think, well, let's see what Tommy's saying, because you can't find me. They made it impossible to find me. 2 weeks ago, we removed that. So very exciting for me. Very exciting for me because I can reach the public again and give them my version of events. It's frustrating when you continually have had to watch people for 5 years lie about you, defame you, and you can't counter them. And literally now, it's funny because the Daily Mail, I don't know if you followed me, anyone who followed me online, the Daily Mail contacted me last week about a story they want to run about me, and they've got allegations again, yeah, just the same old nonsense. And they contact me saying, we need you to answer questions. So I said, fine, give me your number. All the phones are broke at the Daily Mail. I've got the emails from the journalists, yeah. The system's down, yeah. Because they know, because since having my Twitter account back, I just record them now. And I sit and then I use my Twitter account to say, here's what's going on, yeah? And I show people the entire conversations, which again humiliates them. I done it yesterday outside the court case to a Sky News journalist. She become viral. She went viral yesterday, 2 million views on my interview of her, which again, the reason why I'm happy. So when she came up to me outside Sky News, she was still so cocky and smug, thinking that the mainstream media have the monopoly. So mugging me, trying to degrade me, yeah? Thinking that her news story and her camera, she's going to have the monopoly on how many people are listening to her, how they cut and edit it. I'm sitting there laughing, thinking, yeah, I don't have a clue anymore, but I'm back, yeah? I'm back. I'm videoing you. I know by tonight you're getting watched by millions, yeah? And the mockery is going to be on you. So, but for years, they've had that monopoly. When you're censored, they can turn up outside court, they can cut things, they can put voiceovers, and then they can give the general public an opinion of you and a narrative that they want. Now I'm back, they can't. I've absolutely humiliated her yesterday. She actually left court straight away, and millions of people have watched that video. But that's only because I'm back on social media, only because I'm back on X.
Now, a lot of people watching this, they may not have ever used Twitter or know the importance of it if you're a journalist, an activist, and if you're having the press report on you day in, day out, week in, week out, stuff that isn't not just entirely true, but complete fabrication and nonsense, and they magnify the worst things possible, because I've seen it over the years.
It's quite news.
So Sky News, BBC, Guardian, Independent. I mean, I've read things. And what people have to remember watching this, if you watch the first podcast with me and Tom, I know you. I know Tommy. So when I'm reading stuff about Tommy, I know it's completely false. But then you've not got a platform, you've not got your right to respond, essentially. So just to give people, it's a double question, really. Just to give people an understanding of a man in your position as what you do for a living, the importance of having a platform, and then also how it affected you not having that platform mentally, because I'm sure that's nothing more frustrating about reading stuff about you that isn't true. And also, during that 5-year stint where you was completely silenced, which I'll add at this stage, you've got your own podcast called Silenced. But do you remember if there was any stories that were reported about you during those 5 years that really stand out, that you really thought, I deserve my right to reply here, I should have Twitter, just for that report alone? Is there anything that you can remember that stands out that really had an impact?
There's loads. And the importance of it. So the reason why so many people, I believe, distrust the media, and the reason why I have such a core, strong base who are passionate in my support, is because I was able to show them when I had social media. For example, Sky News. I hid a camera over there. I sat there with Jason Farrell. I hid a camera and I sat and done an hour-long interview with him. And then I waited. And when he put out his piece, the headline, which crazily enough is still online now, yeah? Sky News. So this is his headline. Tommy Robinson, I don't care if I incite fear of Muslims, yeah? That's me and Jason Farrell. The clowns didn't think I'd record it, yeah? I recorded the entirety of it. So I sat and thought, I never said that. Where have they got that from? Yeah. So I watched it back. Now, what happens in that interview, and this is why they needed to censor me, yeah? Because they stupidly walked into so many of these. Well, I was sitting talking about a video, and there was a video made in 2007 called Loverboys coming out of Holland, and it's talking about grooming gangs. And it's an educational video. So in Holland, the grooming gangs in the UK are called Loverboys. Yeah? In India, it's called Love Jihad. We call it grooming gangs. But in Holland, it's called Loverboys because the young Muslim males make the young girl fall in love with them. Then they introduce them to prostitution and rape. That's what happens. So it's called Loveboys. They wanted to put that into the educational system in the UK to warn the children. Yeah, there was a big cry about that, saying it's racist. Yeah, because it's all targeting the Muslims who are doing it. Yeah, so I sit and we're talking about this video, and I say, do you know what? I don't care if it incites fear. I'm talking about the video. I don't care if it incites fear. If it stops young girls getting raped. Yeah? That's what we were talking about. When I watched the video go out on Sky News, he put a voiceover saying I sat down with Tommy Robinson and I put it to him that he's inciting fear of Muslims. And it cut to me saying, I don't care if it incites fear. On Sky News' own YouTube, in the transcripts on their YouTube channel, it says incite, if it incites. They've took the T off the I and took the S off the incite, yeah? They've took 2 letters off to make it seem like I'm answering his question, which wasn't a question he was even asking me. He totally changed the context of our conversation and then pumped a totally false narrative to the public. Now, when I put my video out on this, that was the 3rd most, with Ofcom, that was the 3rd most complained about show that year. They done nothing, yeah? We keep hearing about GB News getting complaints. That was they got 3,500 complaints because they totally fooled the public with a false story where they changed the context of the conversation with a fake voiceover and edited what I'd said. I put the video out. Obviously, that's humiliating for Sky News. I've done that multiple times. So anyone who's followed my whole story the whole time, I've shown them, look what they're lying to you, yeah? If they're doing this on this story, how many different stories are they editing and putting in fake voiceovers in, et cetera, et cetera. So I've been able to prove them, which is why there was distrust in the media. Then when I was cancelled 2000 when I produced Panodrama documentary, which was an expose at the BBC, within 48 hours, they didn't just cancel me. So they deleted my Facebook, but they made it, if you mention Tommy Robinson, if you put my name, you get deleted, yeah? So any pictures of me were deleted, facial recognition. You literally were not allowed to mention me on any Meta businesses, which is Instagram and Facebook. They made it so you couldn't even talk about me, yeah? Unless it's negatively, right? There's an interview with a head CEO getting interviewed in Denmark because I went to give a free speech talk in Denmark. I was invited by Parliament to win an award for standing up for free speech. When I got my award, obviously a member of Parliament spoke about me being there and they censored them. So they deleted their post. So the members of Parliament are like, what's going on? Yeah. And then in an interview with the news crew, the head of Facebook for Denmark was interviewed. And he said, no, you can talk negatively. This is what he says. You can talk negatively about Tommy Robinson, but you can't say anything positive about him or share any of his content, yeah? Because we will delete it. Because we have him down as a figure of hate, yeah? Not tried or convicted of anything. And they have me down a figure of hate because I kept exposing and embarrassing and humiliating them, yeah? And showing the public that they lie and that they are fake news. So that's what they come out and said. And the politician then was grilling Facebook's CEO about it. They just admitted it. So to sit then, and from that point on, this is where it got very worrying for me. As soon as I was censored, at the time when I come out of jail in 2018 after that grooming gang scandal where I was imprisoned and then it was deemed unlawful and I was released, there was a government-funded, on all social media, they'd done a government-funded poll, like polling where they're questioning the public. And it was all to do with your opinion of Tommy Robinson. Yeah, so I saw it. So I thought, why are they judging the public's opinion of me? What are they doing? Yeah, this was before I was censored and deleted. They're obviously gauging how much support has he got? How many people are listening to him? How do people think about him? Which ages are they thinking about him? This was government funded. Yeah? They've done all this and boom, I'm deleted. I'm censored from everywhere. Yeah? Absolutely censored. Then, currently in the education system in the UK, and this is where it got worrying for me because literally if you go and type my name in now, the only videos that come up are negative videos about me. They made it so you can't find any of my. So that Sky News one, you can find that. But you can't find my counter to it. You used to be able to when I had YouTube, had Facebook, had all these social medias. You'd find my arguments. You'd find what I'm exposing. They totally deleted it all. And for me, then I'm sitting thinking, okay, in the education system, part of national curriculum, they started teaching who I am. So they done it in my daughter's school. In my daughter's school, the teacher contacted and said, listen, you might hear your name getting bandied about. We're warning you for your daughter. She may hear, because the year above her are going through this, they're in this year, which was 7 or 6 at the time, and you are the subject in one of the classrooms. I said, okay. So, and I'd already been warned this by my other daughter's friends who had already been taught about me in another school. I said, well, I know what you're teaching already, don't I? What are you going to be teaching? It's not going to be fair, is it? You're going to be talking about me as a figure of hate. You're going to be talking about me as a racist, are you? In my daughter's school, and I asked the head teacher, I said, I had to get lawyers. I said, you're going to tell all the children in the year above my daughter, you're going to bring me up on the screen and talk about her dad, and she's in your school. I said, you tell me, is that good for my daughter? And he said, no, I don't think it is. I said, you're the head of year. You've got a safeguarding issue here, yeah? You're going to teach all the non-white children in that school that girl's dad is a racist. Without any evidence, bring me in, I'll talk to you, I'll give you my opinions, I'll talk to the children about my opinions, yeah? And they'll see who I am and not what you're saying I am. So part of national curriculum, so that's the worrying thing for me is, you're going to indoctrinate the entire next generation. Every single school in this country, every single child coming out of school, you're indoctrinating them and telling them, I'm the bad guy, I'm this, my views are this, without any right to reply, yeah? So I've obviously censored for 5 years. I was just lucky that there were millions of people who had seen my previous content, who defended me, who know who I am. So I used to watch, and when stories would go up online, I used to still smile, because the story would go up on social media by the news networks, and every comment underneath would be defending me. And I just sat and thought, wow, man, for me, it's uplifting. It's like, I think there's still an army of people who are defending me and pointing out that it's a lie, yeah? But that ain't going to last forever, because we're going to get a generational point here, yeah? So if I continue my work, we're going to get to a generational point here where the next 10 years, they're going to have 10 years of children coming out of schools who have all been told who I am, I'm a racist. You know, like the new kids coming out of university, they don't think for themselves. They've already got their views on everything and everyone, yeah? They've been indoctrinated into how they think about every issue, yeah? Which is the indoctrination with far left professors who are, it's cultural Marxism through our education system. But I sat there worrying them, thinking, right, I haven't even got a right to reply. So I used to sit and read stories. I used to sit and read really damaging, and not just damaging, but points that would endanger my family, yeah, by certain left-wing groups who are putting up stories and pictures of houses. We're going to get on this in a minute, yeah? I made a documentary about that, but I'm censored. So a left-wing group put up called Hope Not Hate. They've been targeting me for years. They're a George Soros. When you look at these groups, they're a George Soros-funded organisation. Their job is to attack anyone who speaks out against the status quo of the government or the narrative. If you speak against open borders, they come for you. You speak against transgenderism, they come for you. You speak about any of the policies, they come for you, yeah? When you Brexit, they were coming for you. When I say coming for you, they look at where you work, they find out where your family work, they contact your HR departments, they screenshot your messages. So I made a documentary for, I'm going to prove who these guys are, yeah? They're listed by the Swedish government as a far-left extremist organisation, but the head of their organisation is an imam who's been kicked out by the government for his extremism, leading Labour politicians, yeah? This is a deep state organisation whose job it is to attack anyone that goes against the government. Yeah. So whilst we believe we have free speech, these lot come after your free speech in any way they can to put pressure on you. Then, so this group, and then putting pictures of these houses, I made a documentary in the end because I thought I've got to expose this group of who they are. They put up a picture of some woman's house saying it's my house. Yeah. That woman then had Muslim groups turning up. Even just, we'll get onto it, but in the last 48 hours, I've had to relocate that family again, yeah? As groups of what look like possible jihadists, 4 cars of them, are flying drones over 3 properties, all linked to me, yeah? So we'll get onto that because it's a whole nother story, but when we get to that point. But hope not hating these groups, this is the work they do, and this is how they target people. So I've had to sit on social media thinking, as these stories are coming out, thinking, you're in danger, I can't even reply. I can't reply to the people. So I still used to go on and reply in the comments because people are being told who I am. And it's pretty frustrating when these lies can be told by journalist after journalist after journalist who just run these stories. When I have social media, the difference is when I've got my Twitter now, which they've told a lie now straight away because I've done it as soon as I come back on Twitter, I just quote tweeted. Yeah, that's a lie, and put in a video. Yeah, that's a lie, and they look ridiculous. And they get battered in the comments, absolutely battered in the comments by the public who can see they're lying. Yeah. So being able to expose people's lies when they're talking about you, defaming you, slandering you, is very important when you're people like us or people like me. And they've done it for years. So it was a worrying time when I got deplatformed and censored. And obviously Elon Musk now has given me back my voice. And I just had a court case today. You're right. I've just had a court case the last 2 days. And citizen journalism, which Elon Musk spoke so importantly about. Everyone who is a citizen journalist or the rising stars of citizen journalism, I don't know if you watch 𝐶𝐶 TV, Mayor 𝐶𝐶, he's up to 500,000 followers now on YouTube. He's blowing up, yeah? He just takes his camera, right? We don't need BBC to tell us what's going on at a demonstration. He will take his camera and live stream it, yeah? And then people can watch. And it happened on 𝐼𝐺 Day. We had GB News saying I was throwing things at police officers, all the media saying I was aggressive and I was a hooligan and all these things. You was there. I literally went and paid my respects, but the whole time I was on 𝐶𝐶 TV on YouTube, I was there. So anyone who watched 𝐶𝐶 TV, which was 500,000 people watched this video, yeah, it had 500,000 views. They watched the video and then I use my social media to say, here's what they've said, here's what happened. And then I can counter it. So it's very important. It's actually the most important thing is to be able to expose their lies. And when you expose their lies, people then start questioning everything.
There's a few things that you've said there that I've made a note of.
Yep.
First was a thought. I was thinking, while you were talking, is there anybody else that I can remember or think of that has been lied about more than you in the UK? And the answer to that is no. That's just a personal thought that come in. Armistice Day, I can confirm that we was in a taxi. We paid our respects for 2 minutes, and it was me that said to you, we need to leave now because anything that happens, you're going to get the blame. We're in the taxi on the way to
Miller and Carter, bro.
Miller and Carter.
Come on.
An hour out of London, and you're reading on Twitter what's being reported about you, and you're not even there. No trouble. It was about as peaceful as you could possibly imagine. Now, Sky News and all the rest of the media outlets, we was walking towards them as we were walking towards the taxi. Long and short of it is, I know what they do because they recorded that bit walking towards a cab.
And cut it with trouble.
And then they cut straight to trouble. I lost one of my biggest contracts the following Monday
for that
because I was there, because I was present on Armistice Day. So I just want to clear that up. Any trouble that took place that day, and you're getting the blame for, I was with you in a taxi watching it in real time on your Twitter.
And the trouble that happened that day. And the video is actually mad because they say I was there being aggressive. Mayor 𝐶𝐶's entire live stream, when we went down, I spoke to the police. I said to the lads, the last thing anyone wants to hear is trouble on Armistice Day, yeah? I was calming to people, very nice. Speaking to the police, saying, officers, why are you blocking this road? We just need to get to the War Memorial. Now, anything that happened that day was purposely provoked. The police blocked the lines and prevented servicemen, ex-servicemen, getting to a War Memorial, yeah? After months of allowing jihadists to run riot across the capital. The same has happened today. I'm looking through the videos today. There was no opposition today, St George's Day. Yeah, there's no one opposing St George's Day. There's lots of patriots out to celebrate being English, and the police formed barrier lines to prevent these lot who are going to a St George's Day. They blocked the road so they couldn't get to the St George's Day event. So obviously people stand up trying to walk through. The police end up clashing with them. The headlines today are violent scenes in St George's Day chaos. Violent scenes provoked by the police. Violent scene, the police don't do that. Imagine if there was a Hamas rally or a pro-Palestinian rally and the police blocked them getting to the rally, the same would happen. But they don't block them. Today they're out with riot hats on. When they've got people actually rioting in the Palestinian demonstrations, they're wearing flat caps. They haven't got their coshes out. They're all walking backwards or running away. So it's purposely done. You saw that day. And then the media's used as a weapon to attack and tell the public that Tommy Robinson has been a hooligan in London, when his reality was, I went down, I paid a 2-minute silence, and we left straight away. There was no trouble there when we were there. There was nothing. But then we get blamed. Even now they're linking me to trouble that's happened. I've gone to a St George Day event with no trouble, with music, with people celebrating, everyone singing songs, yeah, giving speeches, left, got in a car, took a few hour drive here, and they're trying to blame me now.
Armistice Day was a real big eye-opener for me. I mean, I never trusted the mainstream media because I see what goes on behind the scenes. But to actually be a part of it and be an eyewitness to the whole event, and then the way they just edited it to lambast and chastise and demonise people that were there, doing absolutely nothing wrong but paying their respects as they rightly should.
And Armistice Day come 2 weeks after I got my Twitter back. So I get my Twitter back. I come back into... remember, I was on the run, essentially, yeah? I thought I was out in Spain and not in the best of places. So a film I made called Silence, which has an injunction for me not to release it, so I didn't release it. I get 2 years in jail for the release of that film. And when I heard it was being released in America, I left the country, and I left the country because I wanted to have summer with my kids. So I thought I don't want to end up in jail and miss another summer with my children. I want them for summer holidays, yeah? I don't live with them, so I want to see them for the entirety of the summer holidays. I've got 3 children. So I've gone to Spain, weren't in a great place, worried about this. Then I'm sitting out there for 6 months. I don't come back to the UK for 6 months, yeah? Not even see my kids, because I thought if I come back, I'm getting nicked. I'm flying my kids out every other week. I'm flying them out. And then I get my Twitter back. I get my Twitter back and I think, right, I'm back on social media. Lots is happening in the UK. I'm going to go back, yeah? I've had summer. By that point, I had my summer holidays with my children, yeah? And my lawyers receive a letter from the Attorney General. Bearing in mind the film's gone out 6 months prior. And the letter says, we are looking at prosecuting you for breaching an injunction because of the film Silence that's been released 6 months prior. But why? They didn't contact our lawyers. They didn't come to me for 6 months. As soon as I organised a counter-protest to the Hamas rallies in London on Armistice Day to protect our sacred day, 48 hours later, the government writes to me, look, I think I was meant to take it as a warning, yeah, saying, don't do this rally, yeah, or we're going to prosecute you. Because it didn't say we're definitely prosecuting you. It said we are looking at the option to prosecute you. I then made a video basically saying, Attorney General, like, go fuck yourself, yeah? I haven't done anything wrong. I will fight that case, yeah? And if you want to put me in prison for a film which exposes your lies, not mine, it exposes the corruption of the judiciary 100%. If you want to bring the world's eyes on that film, bang me up for 2 years, yeah? So I had to then they contacted and I had to give legal response to that. But all of this has come about because I'm back on social media, back giving a voice, and I've organised one rally.
Define the word rally, because I've always heard you say, be peaceful, be respectful. I've even seen you when you're walking through London. Be respectful to the police. So just in case anyone's saying, well, Tommy's whipping up a storm.
No. So
define the word rally.
I said there was a pro-Palestinian rally and let them have that. It's over there. No one wants to go near that. Let them have their day. Don't try and block it. Whatever they're doing, they're doing. I said the same as Douglas Murray said, the same as Alison Pearson, who's a lead columnist or a journalist for the Telegraph. People at this point were coming out. Dilly Hussain is an Islamist extremist who has talked about overthrowing the British government and installing Sharia in this country and how he can do that, yeah? He made a statement saying, you're not getting your 2-minute silence this year, yeah? Everyone has sat and watched for months as the Palestinian demonstrators were allowed to desecrate war memorials, to anything that we hold dear or monuments were attacked, were vandalised. Police didn't stop them, yeah? Police can put conditions. Remember, I led the English Defence League. If we wanted to march in Tower Hamlets, the police banned it, yeah? So this is Armistice Day. It's our sacred day. The police and the Home Secretary have powers to stop that march, but they weren't stopping it. So at that point, after watching the build-up, I made a video saying, listen, I'm going to London, yeah, to pay my respects. And I'm also going to make sure that none of these jihadists come near and ruin the 2-minute silence for our ex-servicemen, yeah? So there will be an army of men there, right? Unfortunately, we cannot rely on the police to stop that because they hadn't stopped it for weeks. They'd allowed them literally to run amok, yeah? Calls for jihad by terrorist organisations. banners calling for the gassing of Jews. All of these things which are blatant crimes were not actually being dealt with as crimes. They were being allowed to do it. Comments from the police officers, there's too many of them, yeah? No. Get the army out if you need to get the army out, yeah? If they're breaking the law, bring them to justice. If they're calling for jihad and they're calling for terrorism on our streets and they're calling for attacks against our country, you need to be arresting them. But they weren't arresting any of them, yeah? We all saw it. That's when Suella Braverman come out talking about two-tier policing at the same time, lost her job. 𝐬𝐮𝐬𝐜𝐫𝐤𝐻𝐿 come out, lost his job with the Conservative Party. They bent every time. So at that time, I just made a video saying, this isn't about coming out and attacking people, yeah, but this is about coming out and mobilising, because unfortunately we have to, because we can't rely on the police, and we're not going to allow them to ruin that day, yeah. And so I'm going. I'd advise everyone who loves this country to go, yeah. So with regards to rally, it was literally getting down to the cenotaph. So the police's job's not hard. The extremists and the Islamists are going to Hyde Park. Leave them there, yeah. No one with any opposition. It's just all patriots and ex-servicemen who are coming to the cenotaph. Why are you blocking us getting into each other? Well, like, we're all on the same side. Why are you doing that? And they provoke reaction on the day. And it was so, and people get to see this. The problem that they have, whereas they used to instigate, when we had the English Defence League, they'd instigate trouble because we didn't have the level of social media which we have now, live streaming and things like that. They'd instigate trouble and the media would just take pictures and videos of people causing trouble, and then they'd have controlled the narrative totally to the British public. Extremists, violence, this. But when they tried that on that day, you got 500,000 people who have watched us live on 2C TV saying, no, he didn't do that. No, he definitely didn't throw things at police. No, he wasn't aggressive. He wasn't being violent. In fact, he was calling for calmness. I made multiple videos in the build-up to it saying we have to be peaceful on this day. Yeah? Obviously, if terrorists try coming down to that cenotaph and the police are not going to stop them, people are there to stop it. Yeah, unfortunately, that's what we've had to mobilise. You've had to mobilise men on the streets. But who wants to be mobilising men on the streets? I want to be enjoying and respecting our memorials with my children. But we cannot allow our capital, what we've seen in our capital city, to continue. And the British public are right at this moment absolutely fed up with the way this country's being policed. And they were quick to draw their batons. There's not one video of them attacking people with batons and smashing them over the head for all these extremist terrorist rallies. Not one, yeah? There is a video on Armistice Day if that's what they done. They drew batons on all the English people and they attacked them. Many of them ex-servicemen. They beat them. And then they run the headlines that there was trouble flared. Yeah, because they flared the trouble. We've seen the same today on St George's Day. But that was a start. So if we're going in the process, I'll get my Twitter back. I'll come back to the UK. I also then went, right, I've been working on a documentary. So right now it's time for episode 5, The Rape of Britain, telling the story of a survivor, an Asian girl in Telford. So we went there again with the gangs and we made a documentary. It was a fabulous day. Totally peaceful. Again, every one of our demonstrations when we've gone to Telford have been totally peaceful. We hire a huge screen, we put the screen up and we show the film to expose the police, the council. I've got episode 6 still to do in Telford. Just so many things pop up along the way.
So how many of these documentaries have you made?
It's so far 5. The Britain, episode 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
And people can find these?
You can find them on Rumble. Find them on my Rumble channel. And they're fabulous content. They are very well investigated. We literally spent 18 months investigating these gangs.
And how did you do that?
Sat down with 12 women, but I interviewed more than 12 women, but 12 women, I'd say for 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours, like multiple times, recorded every interview, sat there, spent 12 to 18 months getting to know them all so that they can trust me, going to them and saying, listen, let me tell your story. You know, one of the girls, I've explained this before, one of the Telford gang was being released from prison and I saw a girl put on Facebook, we were all over Telford, investigating everything. And I mean, it was like a police-style investigation. I know every gang member, I know where they live, I know their businesses, I know how they're related. They're like a mafia families, yeah? We've done a big wall of all of them. And then every girl we met, we then use a database. So every time we got a name, we put it in a database. Now, we end up getting 254 names from those 12 girls. Now, when the names come up more than 3 times, by 3 different girls, they become a star in our documentary. We think, right, we've got him. Yeah, we've got enough evidence. He's trafficking children. Let's go for him. Yeah, let's expose him. So that's what the focus of the films was. But one girl put out saying, "I want to be one of the first. Why have no Englishmen killed these men?" That's what she put out on Facebook. I'm going to be one of the first people to do this. I then contacted her. I then got a private investigator. I found out she was in a hostel in London. I knocked on the door. Some black dude answered, "What the fuck are you doing here?" So I'm here to speak to blah, blah, blah. Can you tell her I'm here? I need to talk to her. She come out. I think she was a hippie. Her family were hippies, left wing. And she said, what are you doing here? I said, can you give me an hour of your time? Just give me an hour. Yeah. She come and got in the car with me. I spoke to her for hours. I just said, look, I've read your comments. Like, I presume you're a survivor of those gangs. She said, yeah, I am. I said, just work with me, man. I'm going to ruin them. I'm going to ruin them. If they're not getting prosecuted and there's evidence against them. And so the police identified 200 men in Telford. They prosecuted 11. The police investigation identified 200 men. They prosecuted 11. This is the same in every town, yeah? So that's 189 rapes that haven't been prosecuted even though there's evidence against them, right? They don't have the resources to prosecute these people. The trials, each time they do a trial, is 8, 10, 12-week trial costing millions of pounds. That's on groups of them, yeah? They'd have a trial every week if we were doing all of them, all over the country, because there's so many of them have been raped. So then I sat down with her, said, work with me on it. She hated me, to be honest, when I first met her.
For what reason?
She didn't like my politics. She said clearly she hated my politics. And I said, okay. And then even with her, this is one of our episodes. With her, I said, look, take my number. What you're talking about doing, killing someone, yeah, that's what you said in your Facebook post. I'm just come to you to say, that's not the way, because you lose then, yeah? They win. I will embarrass and humiliate these gangs, yeah? Work me on it. I then get a phone call from her, a message from her like 2 weeks later, and I'm actually in a house. I hired a big house where we're all sat and we've got all the pictures of them. I mean, the investigation we've done, if you watch it, it's not a small style. We went to town with these gangs, yeah? We made sure that every bit we had backup on. Every girl I interviewed, so I interviewed so many girls, but lots of them were anonymous, yeah? But I recorded everything as backup, saying, right, I've got him on that, she's alleging that. And then we've done the database, we worked on all the men, and then I get a message from her saying, you've got half hour, tell me any more questions you want, you've got half hour. And this is on the documentary, so I ring her up. I say, what's going on? She says, I'm in Telford. And I'm like, oh, God. She's in Telford. What are you doing in Telford? She said, I'm ending it, Tommy. I'm ending it. I said, you're ending it? And then I thought, she's gone to kill him. I said, darling, and in my own selfish thing, I think she's about to kill one of the rapists. She's on the phone to me as well, yeah? It's going to look like I'm implicated in this attack, yeah? And I said, darling, don't kill him. Don't kill him. And then she breaks down. And this is all on the documentary. It's good that people get to hear this because this is 20 years later. Yeah? This is how damaged. Every time she has sex with someone in a relationship, she has the flashbacks of the men, yeah, all raping her. So she can't get on and have relationships. Her entire life has been destroyed, still now. So then she breaks down saying about, I'm dead anyway, Tommy. I've been dead for 20 years. Yeah, I can't live with it anymore. And then I say, I say, how far is your mum and dad? We're having this conversation. And I said, if you do something like that, your mum and dad lose, everyone loses, man. And then she just says, I'm going to kill myself. I've come here to do it outside his house and no one can argue it's not to do with him. But this is the story. This is our Rape Britain series. You get to hear all this. You get to see each story, each episode tells a different survivor's story. And we get to meet the gangs.
From the same town.
From the same town, just from a small town in Telford. Telford has a 1.7% Muslim population. There's 5 dead girls in that town. There's 1,000 victims identified by the police. And there's 200 men identified as rapists.
Surely that was common knowledge amongst the public.
Well, it is against all the victims and their families. Yeah. And the politicians know, and we know they know, and we know the police knew. It's all come out in the investigations. There's been an independent inquiry now by lawyers into Telford.
Why were they covering it up?
They've covered it up in every town because of fear of being branded racist, the power of political correctness, because all the gangs were Muslim and all the victims were pretty much white. Well, we find out in Telford they're not all white. It's an Asian girl was our latest victim. But obviously, I get my social media back. I failed this girl, really, like this other girl. Her name's Corinne. That's an episode. I fly her back into the country. I speak to her for 18 months. I gain her confidence. I fly her back into the country. They nick her at the airport. It's all on the documentary. The police nick her at the airport because online she's called one of the Muslim men a racist. They nick her. You know, police turn up at the airport for me, armed police. Like, what are you doing here? I said, what do you mean, what am I doing here? They know I'm flying her back, yeah? They know she's a wealth of information. We've got recordings of their failings. But anyway, we still got the film out. And to be honest, when I had to leave the country, remember, these girls are giving me their trust. So it was a difficult time and it wasn't just a difficult time. When I started exposing these gangs, they blew my car up. They rang up. They threatened to rape my kids. They're all recorded. It's all in the documentaries. Police done nothing. Each time they've done nothing. I identified who's on the phone, threatened to rape children, no arrest. When they petrol bombed my car, I found out who it was. I actually had evidence of who it was. They left their own DNA. They attacked people in cars with baseball bats. They went to town, these gangs, yeah, because they knew we were exposing them. They knew we were exposing them. I think there was 20 firebombings. They firebombed houses and everything. Anyone who would talk to us or survivors' families were targeted. Cars were blowing up, houses were blowing up. Every day on the news in Telford, another house was on fire.
And no arrests?
No, none, not one person. No, not one single person. And then the police come out and said these attacks aren't linked.
I mean, it's not funny, but it's So outrageous.
It's insane.
No arrests.
And I had evidence. I had evidence on lots of it. I know who done the attacks. I know who smashed up the houses. Yeah, I know it all. Right? I had people within their own group, their wives, their ex-wives. I had all of them talking to me. Yeah, I had all of them talking to me. One of the men we're investigating raped his own kid. So yeah, all this is going on. I'm there, but then I decide to come back to the UK. I get my social media back, and to be honest, I'm best when I'm in the fight. Yeah. I was in a bad way when I was in Spain. Yeah, I was lost. Don't know, I've got nowhere to live. I'm away on my own.
That's why I was there.
Yeah, I know. You come out babysitting me for a while, man. I remember you said to me, no, remember, you kept saying, remember what you've done. Remember what you've done. You've already done this. Yeah. And I was sitting there, and then when I watched back videos, I thought, fucking hell, I was watching back things that have gone on, going in and out of jail, videos, other things. And then I built myself back up for, let's go again, man. Let's go again. And since that point, I've been in such a better place because when I'm in the fight, I'm in the fight. I know what I'm doing. I know I'm walking around like that. And that's all I'm thinking rather than retreating. So I come back. I finished episode 5. I rang the girl, said, listen, I'm going after him.
Would you say the Rugby Britain, the documentary series, is that your finest work?
Oh, it's my finest work, without a doubt. It's my most important work. It's my most important work. Most important work is these girls have not been listened to. They've not been given a voice. I offered them a voice. I gave them a platform, and I told their stories. It's not for me to discount their stories. It's for me to tell their stories, and then challenge the allegations against the men when I know I've got enough evidence. And like for example, on that girl's house, on that last girl, I come back to the UK. I found out one of them was a gas certified engineer, and we rented an Airbnb, and then we got a woman to contact him to come and fix the boiler. And it's like, but I also knew the threats to my family, they went to my mum's house. So these Telford gangs went to my mum's house. So one of the mum's neighbours contacted, said, listen, I've got a video here. There was a car outside and they're videoing your house to my mum's house. So I've drove up there. I've got the registration plate. Thought, right, let's have a look who owns this car. I've got a private investigator, found out who owned the car. Car's registered in Dudley. So I look up the man who owns the car, look up his social media. He's part of a cricket club. Look everything up. Look who his friends are on social media. Guess who his friends are? They're all the men I'm investigating for the rape. Yeah. So I thought, okay, he's drove 2 hours to my mum's house. The next day I went to his house. The next day I knocked at his house. It was Ramadan or Eid, yeah? So they're all in the house. But I knocked at the house with about 30 lads. But not, and as soon as I knocked at the house and one of the Muslims answered, he said, what are you doing here? But there were women in the house. I said, there's no one's going to do anything here. I said, where's Imran? Yeah, where is he? And I said, and he goes, he's my uncle. I said, so where is he? Is he in the house? He goes, he's not in the house. I said, get him on the phone, tell him he needs to come in now. Yeah. I said, and I give you my word that these men are not doing anything, but Imran's got something to sort out with me. They're here because you don't fight fair anyway, yeah? You never fight fair. And they're here because someone's gone to my mother's house. Now I've got your aunt, I've got his mum's house in Birmingham. I've got his dad's house. They're separated. I've got every fucking bit of information about every member of your family, yeah? He has drove 2 hours. Get him here now. Yeah, he's drove 2 hours to my mum's house. My mum ain't sitting duck. I'll come straight to your families if you think you target my mum. So get him on the phone. He comes on the phone and just lies. Yeah, he says, "Oh no." And I said, "No, mate. I've got your golf outside my mum's house." He goes, "I sold the golf to some other Asians." I said, "Where are they from?" He said, "Luton." I said, "So you're in Dudley. The car's registered here. You're friends with named all the races you're friends with. I'm investigating them, and your car's outside my mum's videoing it." And you want me to believe? And I said, just so you know, and I made the video, and I to tell all the gangs, each one of you, yeah, if you think I'm sitting waiting for you to target my family, I know every bit of information about you. I'm coming straight round your house, yeah, if you're going to target my family's houses. It's not happening. But all of this brought massive pressure, man. Like when I was making this documentary set, I can understand why they don't get investigated, yeah. They done everything. They blew my car up. I was at a hotel. Come out, the car's petrol bombed, yeah. They rang up. You've got to listen to what they say. They rang up saying, we know what school your kids go to. We're going to get your daughter and rape her. So I'm listening to all this. Again, the police are doing nothing. And I've obviously spoke about Islam a lot, upset some Muslims, of course, but I haven't put the direction on one group. With this, the Benalis is the gang, yeah? That's their gang name, the Benalis. There's videos of Amir Khan bigging up the Benalis, yeah? The Benalis are the gang. Some of them are solicitors, some of them are leaders of mosques. Some of them are gang related. They've all been done for guns, drugs, everything. Yeah, they're like a mafia, Pakistani mafia. Yeah. When I looked at them all, I was like, oh my god, CPS solicitors, lawyers, yeah, police officers, Labour councillors, they're all interlinked, man. Every one of them. And I'm like, this is like a web, a mafia web. Yeah, they've got control of the entire town. 1.7%. Everyone's shit scared of him. When I was going up there, everyone was like, mate, you don't know what you're messing with here, bruv. I said, what do you mean? There's 1.7% Muslim population. I'm from Luton Town, 50%. You know what I mean? I said, like, wow, how are you lot all so shit scared of these lot?
Do you ever get nervous about them? About the people that you're targeting?
It brought a lot of heat on me. And again, they've gone to my families, yeah? So I had to tell them. I had to do that. I don't want to be going up with 30 lads up to a Muslim area. It's a potential riot. And it's potential. If he comes outside his house, I'm going to have to deal with it, yeah? So if he comes outside his house, he could come out with weapons. All these, it's big risk. It's a big risk.
But what about your nerves?
My nerves, I don't have an option, do I? I don't have an option. And I didn't have an option, so even with that girl, so the girl _𝐿, I put off her film then. I put it off, and then I've gone away. And when I've come back, then we've gone and I've rented the house, and I'm waiting in the house, and he's coming to fix the boiler, the lead racist. He comes in to fix the boiler, and boom, I come down the stairs. I said, right, mate, how you doing? And for me, I watched the colour drain out of their faces, yeah? And do you know, the main gangster in that town, Muslim gangster, he contacted me, the main one, their top boy. He contacted me. He's like, Tommy, listen, yeah, I ain't no racist. I said, I know you're not, bruv. I know every fucking thing about you, yeah? I know where your camp is. I know where your drugs are. I know everything, yeah? And he goes, but I ain't no child racist, Tommy. I said, I know you're not, bruv. I'm not bothered about you, yeah? I'm not bothered about you. He goes, okay. He goes, I said, mate, I'm going after the men that are raping kids. You're associated with them. You're friends with them. And I'm going to expose them. And what I've done is a Guess Who board on the films. I made a Guess Who board. And at the end of the documentary, it's like, boom, 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 all the faces fill up, yeah? And then it comes up with loads of question marks as to who's next. And then on the wall, they're obviously zooming in because I put all of them on the wall. And then one of them got one of their ex-girlfriends ringing me up. And I know she's ringing me up trying to get information for him. And I'm like, yeah, he's in episode 8 because I know he's sitting thinking, fucking hell. They're selling their businesses. So the next target sold he had 3 businesses. They're sold before the film comes out. They're in Pakistan. By the time I got into episode 4, they've all gone. They've all gone. Yeah, and I know then one of them's been sectioned, another one's getting hassled in a town centre because he's a racist. And I know, you see these girls and what they walk with, and the stress they carry, and all the things they carry. I know now these men are carrying it. Yeah, so that for me, the moment I walk in and look at them, and I've gone in all their businesses on the documentaries, I just walk in and say, right, mate, I've got to ask you some questions, and I just see them go, oh, fuck, yeah, mate, yeah, you're famous, yeah, everyone in your town's going to know what you've done. Yeah, that is for me. Is a massively beneficial moment, yeah, for me, because I've got to know these girls. I know how much they've suffered. So when I meet the girls, I say, don't worry, he's going to suffer. He's going to have the heat. He's going to be looking over his shoulder for the rest of his life, yeah. But then obviously they've tried to throw that on me, and at the time, I probably underestimated it. But yeah, we've exposed bent police officers in that series. But this all happened. I would if I probably didn't get my Twitter account back, I probably didn't have the will. I had problems telling these stories. I'd gone out to Spain, probably getting my voice back. I said each time I get knocked down, I feel like something just picks me up. And at that time, Elon Musk just went, boom, get up, go on, go back. So I come back, I finished episode 5. I set a date for premiering it in Telford, and then I hit London for Armistice Day.
There's people in the mainstream that still denounce your journalism. They don't like to give you the credit of being a journalist. Now, anyone that's just listened to the last 20 minutes of you describing your investigation, how can you deny that you're a journalist?
Do you know how hard it is on some of them? Do you know surveillance teams? We hired surveillance teams, proper surveillance teams, ex-special forces, surveillance teams. The amount of work you can put in, the amount of money you can spend on having houses surveillance, especially with these lot, they've all got the same name. And they don't live in the same places, yeah? So we're monitoring, trying to find people, trying to find addresses. We put hidden cameras, like we have rocks that are cameras, all these different things. But the investigation we done, it's undeniable how good our investigation was. Yeah, we didn't just go into it half-eyed, but we done the investigation before we went after any of the men. So by the time we started telling our first series, we've already got everything we need. You can't run and hide. We know where you are. We know what cars you drive. We know where your businesses are. I know where to find you already. I know what time you leave your house. Yeah, I know what time you leave your house. I know this, I know that. But then a lot of them left and went to Pakistan. But yeah, our investigations, I'm not saying it. Anyone who watches our journalism, I had a woman come up to me today again in London, just said, you are an absolutely fabulous journalist, yeah, with the work you do. Each one at Panodrama, Ruined Them, Hope Not Hate investigation, our documentary. I'm working on now, I've just called it today, June the 1st, our next film goes out. It's an expose of the British totalitarian state. It's I already know it's going to be fabulous. Yeah, it's going to totally expose them. It's going to show that we already have lost our freedoms. You know, we think we have freedom of speech, freedom of assembly, freedom of the press. No, we don't. None of them. None of them. It's an illusion, an absolute illusion. We live in a police state, total police state. And I'll get on to everyone witnessed. So the chain of events are: I get my Twitter back. I come back. I finish episode 5. We have a fabulous event. When I say a fabulous event, the girl comes, the survivor, we fly her back in again to the country. She's had to leave the country. We fly her back in. They smashed her, on this documentary, they smashed her mum's house up 2 days in a row. Police won't even come. I have to go up there, yeah? Bearing in mind the whole family's been burned alive already in this town by the gangs. Then they turn up, when we go up there, they turn up, 3 cars of them, jump out and base bat up a woman. Well, we've got it's all on our documentary, yeah? When they base bat up the woman, they leave their blood on the car window because they smashed the whole car up. Their blood's there, their DNA's there. No one gets arrested, no one gets prosecuted. No one. It's mad what has happened in this town, and the police have done nothing. So we've got one more episode to do, and we're going after the council. And I've already got dirt on them. I mean, like, there's the man who's going to run as the member of parliament for that town. I've got covert recordings already of allegations of sexual misconduct against children from him. We've given them to the police already. We sent, Danny Tyler's a good-looking lad, isn't he?
Yeah.
So we sent him out with someone in the council who's gay, with a covert hidden camera to befriend him and discuss what's going on in the council. And we got unbelievable things that happened in the council of the man, the head of the council, sexually assaulting minors multiple times. Wow. Yeah, that's coming in episode 6. But again, so many things got bang up that they throw things in my way. Like, again, this court case that happened recently, today, that I was cleared from today, I've come back, I've done my journalism, and then there's an anti-Semitism rally, and I'm full back into it then, and that's when I'm at my best. I mean, like, I started my podcast, I've got content out every week, I'm chasing the stories, following the stories, I'm active, I'm back out every day, and that is when I'm at my best. I get stressed from it, I get pressure from it, but I know what I'm doing, I'm fighting. When I sort of sit back, and that's probably where I've got too much time to think about it, whereas I just think full steam ahead.
Why are you here? How come GB News haven't reached out and said, Tommy, can we interview you? Or better still, Tommy, we need to interview you. We've seen your journalism. We've seen what's gone on.
GB News aren't allowed to mention me.
They're meant to be alternative media.
Yeah, they're not.
So what's the situation there?
GB News have been told, so Calvin Robertson, Lawrence Fox, all their ex-presenters, in fact, not just their ex-presenters, their current presenters, I've had meetings with lots of them, yeah, who have tried to get me on the shows. They're not allowed to mention me. Even my name's not allowed to be mentioned on there. But then they've had an imam on there saying that, you know, Armitage Day, they had an imam on TV saying that I was throwing petrol bombs. Yeah. They had another woman on, left-wing activist, saying that I was throwing things at the police. So they have people on regularly who lie and defame me. I'm not allowed to counter that. But luckily, I just cut the little clip, which I'm doing now. They've lied about me again earlier. Yeah. Just someone on GB News has today. Yeah. So I just cut the little clip and then show how they've lied. So again, now I have a platform that has relit the fire in my belly, because I can now go to town, and not just go to town and preach to the people who already understand what's going on. I can help awaken the masses, you know, which is what I want to do. I want to awaken everyone in this country to understand the state this country's in, the danger it's in. If you've got children, they're in trouble. Yeah, they're coming for your kids. They're sexualising your kids. They're taking away your parental rights. All these things are happening. Yeah, they're turning the youth against the nation. And there was an interview this week in the Times newspaper. I don't know if you saw it. Times newspaper from a school teacher at a Muslim school, an English school teacher. He asked, "Put your hands up if you hate Britain. Yeah, if you love Britain or hate Britain." 30 of his pupils put their hands up hating Britain. 30 of them, the whole class, hate Britain. This is what's coming. Yeah, this is what's coming, because those kids are all leaving school. Yeah, and they're not just leaving school, but the population's doubling every 10 years. Yeah, we're in trouble, right? You've seen this with the Hamas rallies. You've seen this with the support for jihad. You've seen this, right? So we're in trouble. I want to help awaken people, because we need to be prepared for what's coming. There's an attack coming on our culture, on our identity, on everything. Yeah, and it's coming from all angles. All right. So I have the reason why GB News and those sorts of people, would I want to sit down and do an interview with them? No, it's so much better. Do you know how exciting it is? Your platform's grown. Yeah, look how much you're growing. Your numbers are growing. Mayor Tussi's grown. Voice of Wales are growing. The fastest growing voices, who are far beating the mainstream media now, is citizen journalism. And Elon Musk said it's the future for the world, and it is the future for the world. It's the future. The future is that every one of you watching this can be a journalist. Yeah, we can counter their lies. We can expose their lies. The stories before, we used to go to city centres with the English Defence League, and we'd hold a rally and talk about what's happened there. Just pick this up now. And I realised that in 2015 when I started my journalism, I thought I just need to show the world what I know. I need to let them see what I see. I need to put it together. So now I've put it together into a documentary format. This lawfare documentary I'm making, it's called Lawfare, a Totalitarian State. It's going to totally humiliate the police. By the end of watching this, you're going to realise you don't have rights. And this isn't about me, which I say, you may hate me, you may dislike me, you may celebrate the fact that I was under arrest when I've done nothing. You may celebrate the fact that I've had my rights taken away from me. But this isn't about me, this is actually about you. They're coming for your rights. They're using me as an example, but it's coming for you. You may find yourself on the right side of it at the minute, but you'll be on the wrong side of it at some point. For example, J.K. Rowling, she's now a figure of hate for saying a man's a man and a woman's a woman. Yeah, she's now a figure of hate. She comes under attack all the time. Yeah, but she was one of the people who was critical of people like us. Yeah, so she's not on the right side anymore. Yeah, you're in trouble. Speaking against transgenderism, you're in trouble. Yeah, they continually shift the goalposts. So you may think you're on the right side of it, but at some point you won't be. And I actually, in the film, I sit there and say, you may enjoy this happening to me, but is this about me? And then we cut to Wales, where I show examples of how there's been total abuse of... What the problem is, what everyone saw on November 26th, I went to report on a rally in London as a journalist. Now, people like to argue I'm not a journalist. I put together a video for court, which we didn't even have to show the judge. And it's me in 9 different countries doing my journalism, yeah, saying, I'm in Germany to report this. I'm in Poland to report this. I'm in Austria to report this. I'm a journalist. You may not like that fact, and I went through it yesterday with the definition of a journalist, someone who takes the news of what's happening and puts it into a format, whether a video or written, and gives it to the public, yeah? That's what I do. I take an investigation, and I'm sorry, but I've made 8 feature-length investigative documentaries, which are absolutely fabulous. I don't know any other journalist has done that in the UK, yeah? My viewers and my loyal viewers, but my reach is far exceeds any media company, yeah, for the people who watch my content. So, and I challenge their narratives, and they must hate it. And I put a thing out yesterday saying, you thought you silenced me when I put up my figures, my recent figures. Because for years I struggled. When we were censored, I struggled.
And what year did you walk away from the EDL?
I walked away from the EDL in 2014. I saw that the police officer said, well, he's a member of the EDL. How are you that stupid that you still think there's an English Defence League? You're meant to be a police officer in charge of other police officers. You're a high-ranking inspector. Yeah? The English Defence League finished in 2015. So I left the English Defence League. There hasn't been one. But they also steal and throw that at me. But yesterday, something's happened. There's been a change in public opinion since October 7th especially. There's been an awakening in the public. Even just the BBC news article, BBC ran a news article yesterday, and I'll tell you why I believe they run it. Yeah, because citizen journalists from Potkin, who's an Iranian dude, Mayor Tusi, Voice of Wales, Rebel Media was come over from Canada for my court case, and yesterday they sat in court and they live tweeted. No other journalists done this. There were no mainstream journalists doing this. They live tweeted everything that was happening. So when the police officer got up on the dock and admitted that he falsified the evidence, yeah, he admitted it. Right? When he stood up and said, well, can you tell this court there was a lawful order to do this? And he said no. Yeah. When all these new media, which is what we are, reported this, because no mainstream did, yeah, when they were live tweeting it from court, they can't hide it anymore. So then, by that night time, BBC News, all the major news networks were reporting the police officer had lied. Yeah, and they haven't got a case against me. But that, without citizen journalism, without those journalists coming from Canada and sitting in that court and live tweeting every word of it, of what's happening, the public would never have got the truth. If I was still censored, I couldn't tell the public what just happened in court. I've been in court cases at the High Court where, and this is my defamation case where they bankrupt me for £1.6 million. I brought 5 witnesses to that court case. When it was the witnesses from the school to stand up and give evidence, all the mainstream media got up and walked out of court. And I'm sitting there and I said to the judge, like, what is going on? Right? So now the public outside, and I'm censored, are not going to be able to hear what these witnesses are saying. These witnesses are giving evidence from the school that boy called his mum a white slag, attacked him, violently attacked a girl. You've got girls standing up saying he beat her with a hockey stick. None of that hit the media. None of it hit the media. You see, if there was 5 independent citizen journalists reporting every word of that, and those citizen journalists now haven't got 100 followers, yeah, they've got 500,000. Yeah, they are the news source. They are the people that the general public who are watching this go to for their when there's a demonstration. Let's watch their live footage. They're not getting live footage from the BBC because the BBC never give live footage. What the BBC like to do is cut it, get the whole day's footage, get the worst bits, put them together, add a voiceover, and give you a bullshit narrative to show you how the day's gone. Whereas now, citizen journalism, everyone gets to see the truth. So, and they will come down on those citizen journalists like they have me. But a lot of them have got so big now, and now, thanks to Elon Musk, there's a platform for freedom of speech, which is a mainstream platform. People can get the truth. And they can't censor you. He's standing up now. You see what they're doing in Brazil and Australia. A senator in Australia just said Elon Musk needs to be put in jail because he's refusing to delete the videos of the latest jihad attack. He's saying no. They want to censor so the Australian public can't see the attack. So then they can spoon feed bullshit about mental health instead of hearing the man scream Allah Akbar whilst he's stabbing someone. They want to control everything you see. Elon Musk has put a real spanner in the works for them. And he's given me back my voice. And my voice isn't my voice, really. With me, it's a movement, yeah, which is why they fear me. It's why I think they tried to silence and destroy me. They know this isn't about me, yeah. I've become a symbol for people who want to speak out, who can't speak out. And they've tried, which says they're fucked up massively. They've tried to think, let's send a message to the public by destroying him, yeah. And here I am, I'm not destroyed. My figures are going through the roof. I've got more credibility than ever before. I get more people shake my hand and embrace me and love me than ever before. I'm about to put a video up from London. The love I get shown is insane. And I sit there and laugh and think, you've lost. You're not winning. You've had the full weight of the mainstream media, the full weight of the government, the most funded ideology in the world. You've all been bombarding the public to tell them who I am. And I get love everywhere I go. You've absolutely lost. Because the more you do it, like this November 26th arrest, they don't. 5 millions of people watched that video.
What happened on November the 26th? November
26th was a rally against anti-Semitism.
And what were you doing there?
I was there as a journalist. I didn't bring security. I literally hired a cameraman. Not my usual cameraman, because he sees his kids every other weekend, yeah? So I hired Jonathan Wong, who works for another media organisation who, again, are absolutely smashing it, yeah? I went to their new studios. This is Lotus Eaters. They've got a better studio than GB News. Yeah, they've got a better studio. It's so. I'm laughing. And Calvin Robertson, who was censored and deleted off GB News, now has his own show for them. It's absolutely brilliant. The public needs to support every one of these channels, every new platform, every new voice, everyone who doesn't rely on the state money, everyone who doesn't rely on the mainstream. Support them in every single way because it's so important and it's encouraging. Because remember, when I started talking in 2009, it was only us. And then I went through 4 or 5 years of leading English Defence League. It was still only us. Who else was talking about Islam? Who else was talking about immigration? There was no one, yeah? There was no one. Now, there's hundreds. There's hundreds, man. It's good. You're not alone in this area, in this field. So many people are talking, but it's good to be brought back to the mainstream. It's good to be encouraged in the mainstream. It's good to have now so many mainstream voices defending me, supporting me, speaking up on my behalf that never would have, wanting to be seen with me, whereas they would never want to be seen with me. I've had meetings with so many people over the years secretly, always secretly, not anymore. Do you know what I mean? They're happy to stand next to me. So, yeah, I think that I went down there on November 26th. I travelled down. It's my birthday on the 27th. Again, it annoyed me because it's my birthday on the 27th. I had things planned for the kids. I've travelled down. I go to a coffee shop. I sit in a coffee shop. Police will come in. Right, you need to leave. I said, what do you mean I need to leave? And I read, the police put out a statement the day before because some journalists from GB News got abused and harassed by Palestinian supporters. They put out a statement saying it is important that journalists are allowed to go cover any of these rallies without fear or intimidation. Yeah, it is as important. Freedom of the press to report on these rallies is as important as freedom of assembly for the people attending the rallies. So the Met put out this statement. I read it on the way down and I shared it, saying, I hope this applies to me. Yeah, and what come out in court today, we'll get onto the court case as well, is that the officer had to accept that they don't get to choose who's a journalist. Yeah, and since the day of the new media, which is social media, yeah, and digital media. Since that, you don't need a press card to be a journalist. I don't need to be part of your union to be a journalist. Why would I want to be part of your union? You're the people that lie about us, yeah? But I am a journalist, and I don't need your recognition to be that. I work full-time as a journalist. That's how I work. I work for people who subscribe to Urban Scoop, and then that's who I work for, a company, and I go cover lots of things. I've covered Brexit rallies. I've covered rallies in Poland, in Germany, politics, or anything, yeah? I cover all these stories. So I was there that day and I sat down and the police officer came in and I said, what are you talking about? I've just ordered a breakfast, yeah? He said, your presence is going to cause people alarm and distress. What are you talking about? I'm not at a Hamas rally, yeah? I'm pro-Israel, yeah? And I'm not ashamed of that. A lot of people give me shit about that, but I don't care what people say, yeah? I know why I have my views. I am pro-Israel. I get love off the people who support Israel, off the Jewish community. I've never had any problems. I went to the last rally as a supporter 2 years prior, received a great reception. So I'm sitting there and I'm going to report. And the reason I've gone to report is it's probably the most anti-Semitism and the most Jew hatred that I've ever seen has risen. So I've spoke up and I went to the demonstration because I want to ask these people, have you ever demonstrated before? Is this the first time you come out on the streets? Why now? How are you feeling as a Jew in London? When you see images or you see videos of people screaming for gassing the Jews, when you see the footage from universities of Jewish students coming under attack, when you see such high level of hatred, how do you feel? What do you feel about the police's response? That's my job as a journalist. What do you feel about Mark Rowley? Do you think the police should have done more? What do you think of the fact that his but here are prescribed in many countries but not here as a terrorist organisation? I went to ask all these questions. I would have put together a video edit of it and put it out. And when I got in there, they basically said leave.
So did you even get a chance to get started?
No, I was just sat in a gaff, sat down with my cameraman, and lots of people come over and were very loving, and I asked them questions. But when the police come in, his attitude, you can watch the video. He was like, if you don't leave, I'll make you leave. I said, I've just ordered breakfast. You can give me a refund. You're going to pay for my breakfast. There's 20 quid breakfast in London. I'm starving. I'm having my breakfast, yeah? Anyone who knows what I'm like about food, we'd end up swinging over that full English, yeah? You're not taking me out before I eat that full English. Let me eat the full English. So I've had my full English. I've sat there. I go to walk out the door. As I go to walk out the door, I see them all. They're all mobbing up from everywhere, the police. And I'm thinking, what is going on? And they come up again and said, you need to leave. I said, what for? And they said, alarm and distress. So I asked the crowd, there's a massive crowd, am I causing any of you alarm and distress? They said, no, we want you here. We want you here. And the point is, my presence might cause people alarm and distress. We now live in a pathetic world where the new generation of people can't even hear any hurty words, yeah? They're distressed at everything. They're distressed at everything, yeah? So my presence might cause alarm and distress. What does that matter? And they said that the organiser, a bloke called Gideon, who's all over the news this week, that Gideon has said he doesn't want me there. Well, when I went to Ireland to do my investigative documentary into immigration in Ireland, their politicians come out and said, he's not welcome in our country. Actually, one of their politicians in their cabinet stood up and said, the streets shouldn't be safe for Tommy Robinson. They were inciting people to attack me when I was there. I went there, I wore covert cameras. I produced a fabulous documentary called Plantation 2, Rise of the Celts, about how women aren't safe in Ireland. I wore hidden cameras and went up to Irish women who don't know who I am to get the truth out of them. Stick a camera in their face, none of them will talk. I went up and just said, how do you feel now that they've put migrants and has there been a change? She said, we can't walk the streets. We're terrified. I have to pick my daughter up. Then we have no freedom now. She was sexually assaulted here. Someone was attacked there. Someone was raped. Every woman you spoke to just told the truth in covert recordings. And then I'd ask them, do you mind if I'm a journalist from the UK. Can I just get this on camera? No. So the fear, and we know the government and the establishment know what fear can do. They use as an example. They put fear into everyone and they controlled you. Everyone shit themselves. People were happy to give away their freedoms because they were scared, yeah? They know that, right? They've got the entire population in fear of speaking. No one will talk about how they truthfully feel. So when you put they might sit here and have a conversation in the pub and tell you their views, stick a camera in their face, can't say that. They all shut up, yeah? Well, our job, or my job, is to show everyone how people feel, yeah? So I wore a covert camera. I produced a great documentary which categorically, every woman I spoke to was scared. So is it right that Irish women are now scared while you flood the country with these barbarians? And when I say barbarians, they're raping, they're stabbing, they're attacking, they're murdering. I sat down and interviewed a girl who was raped by a taxi driver who was already wanted in another European country. And he come in and he raped her. And she was crying on camera, so I interviewed her about all of it. So I produced that documentary, put that out there. But they told me I wasn't wanted. To be honest, I get told I'm not wanted many places I go, yeah? If I was worried about causing people alarm and distress, I'd probably never leave my house again, yeah? But they're given alarm and distress, and so many people like on Talk TV, like Julie Hartley-Brewer, now talks about what I talk about, yeah? But it's okay for her to talk about it, but she recently said I make outrageously racist comments, yeah? And they talk about me being toxic. And the only reason why I'm toxic is because people like her and people on GB News lie about me. What have I said that's outrageously racist? Show me. Yeah? You then talk about, oh, well, he's toxic. Yeah, because you've all lied. Because you sit there on daytime TV and lie about me.
I just want to slip this in here now on the subject of racism, because I touched base on this during the first interview, which people can go and watch. Very different to this one. And I said to you that when we first got talking years and years ago, all I read was that you was a racist. And so I'm just going to reiterate what I said in the first one in case people haven't seen that. So me reading articles about a man I haven't met yet, this was maybe over 10 years ago. Well, I can't be friends with a racist for obvious reasons. A lot of my friends are of different colours, and I don't care what colour you are. And so when we started talking on the internet, I had to satisfy my curiosity, whether you was or you wasn't, and I tried my damnedest. I went down rabbit holes to try and find something that you'd said or done that was racist. And for the love of God, I couldn't find a single thing. And I challenge anybody that's watching this interview that uses that word without doing any inquiries whatsoever. You go and find something that Tommy's said or done that's racist and put it in the comments, because I couldn't find a thing, hence why we're here now.
So there's one thing that they try to use, yeah? I'm in a school group chat with all the lads from school. My school group chat's Pakistanis, it's blacks. We're all mates. We banter the hell out of each other. I made a video saying if there was war in Israel, I'll go fight for the IDF, yeah? We're bantering about Palestine and Israel with the Muslims I went to school with and with me. We're having humour. That got leaked. That video got leaked. And it was humour and banter amongst friends, and they tried to use that one clip of me bantering about shit. But anyway, so that's where I was at. I went to the demonstration. I was told to leave. I didn't have an opportunity to leave, which was come out in court. When I walk out the stairs, the police come up to me. He reads me this order. And I'm telling them the whole time, I'm at work, lads. Right? I know the legislation they're using probably better than them, because I'd looked at it, yeah? They cannot issue a dispersal order against someone who's working, yeah? I said, lads, I'm at work. I'm a journalist. I don't care. We don't care, right? You're leaving. I said, well, you can't do that, because... And then as I walk out the steps and they all come and grab me, they manhandle me, they pull me down the stairs, and I say to him, I need my colleague, yeah? I don't care. That's his words, yeah? So under the legislation, if you've got a reasonable excuse not to leave, they have to listen to it. Between them reading me the order and arresting me, the judge says in his comments, there's 35 seconds, yeah? They're meant to give you an opportunity to leave. They didn't even know where I was going. I asked them, where am I meant to leave? Yeah, there's thousands of people here. Which way am I meant to go? That's what I asked them. Which way do you want me to go? They arrested me. They didn't just arrest me. They literally dragged me in front of the world's media all the way down the road. They went the wrong way. Then they pulled me back. Some officers are pulling me that way. Some officers are pulling me that way. I'm saying I'm not resisting. They're bending me up everywhere. They handcuffed me. And then from point blank range, he pepper sprays me in front of everyone from point blank range. Like my eyes, I felt like my whole face was burning off. I felt like I was burning off. And I'm thinking, what the fuck is this? What's happening? I'm at work. But then what's been ruled today, we'll get on to what was ruled today, but the last time this happened to me when I was at work, I was reporting in 2017 outside a court case, and I was taken off the streets and arrested for a bullshit charge, put in front of a judge, and within 2 hours I was doing 13 months in prison. And after 11 weeks of that, it was taken to court and proven what they'd done was unlawful. Yeah, but I had to sit on solitary confinement for 11 weeks. Then they changed the law and recharged me and sent me back to jail. So what happened on this case, I didn't have much confidence on today, if I'm honest. I've been through this politicised court system, yeah? And everyone saw what happened. Do you know what the officers' statements are? When I read their statements, look at how many police officers... Watch the video of me being arrested. They've all got body-worn cameras. Every one of them. There's not one officer that's there out of the 20 to 30 officers that doesn't have a body-worn camera. We put a legal letter in. When I sat in the police station, I said, get their cameras. Yeah, I know what they were saying to me. One of them said, throw them down the fucking stairs. Yeah, I know their comments. I know I wasn't resisting arrest. I know all I was saying to them is, my cameraman's got my keys. Yeah, so they're escorting me out the area. Well, my car's over there, and I can't get in the car, you morons. Yeah, he's got his bag on. Go get my cameraman. That's all I'm saying. And then they twist me up. They pepper spray me.
What did they say you was under arrest for?
For not obeying their order to leave. I didn't even get a chance to leave. Yeah, which is what in the judge's verdict today. He says, well, if we want to get on to did he leave or didn't he leave, from you giving an order, 35 seconds, you haven't let him leave. You haven't even given him a chance. You manhandle him straight away. They're not allowed to manhandle you straight away unless you're under arrest. They physically start gripping me up. They don't arrest me, then boom, they arrest me at the bottom of the stairs. And I haven't even disobeyed anything. But they've done all this. They pepper spray me.
Did you know they were going to pepper spray you?
I had no idea what's happened. I'm handcuffed. My head's down. I'm surrounded. And then boom, I'm like, what the fuck has just happened?
And what's it like to be pepper sprayed at point blank range?
Mate, my eyes, I felt like my whole face had been acid. I felt like I'd been attacked with acid. That's how it felt. My whole face. So my eyes, obviously, but my entire skin was burning. I was like, what the fuck is going on? What is going on? Yeah? And then as they're dragging me away, I'm like, wipe my face, man, wipe my face. And you can see me say to them, what are you doing? What the fuck is going on? And I'm handcuffed at the time. And then when I read the statements in, so I get put in the back of the police van, and I'm like, who done that? Who done that? And then they take my handcuffs off. I've got my phone, so I do a video in the back of the meat wagon. Yeah, and I say, what the fuck is this? Yeah, and I put it out straight away because I thought I don't know what people have seen. They formed a ring around me, so people couldn't see. Someone caught it on camera, but people couldn't see what they were doing as they were twisting me up, bending me up, trying to hurt me, and then pepper spraying me. They think they're covered because they've got a ring of police officers making sure, a ring of steel, making sure that no one can see in. They're blocking you can see them on the footage. They're blocking the cameras. They don't want everyone watching what's happening. And I'm thinking, I'm in a cafe having a breakfast. I've come to report. If I was at a pro-Palestinian rally, I'd sort of understand the fact that they think, shit might get hot here, yeah? We need to get you out of here. I'm not. Everyone's on my side. Yeah? I'm just here as a journalist. I believe Boris Johnson was there, members of the British establishment were there. They couldn't have me at a demonstration they're at, receiving a great reception. They couldn't have it. Yeah? So the decision had been made, which we find out, we get onto it, days before, get rid of him. If he turns up, he's got to go, yeah? And they'd already made the decision, he's getting nicked. Even though I hadn't done anything, he's getting nicked. And then when they nick me, this is why they nick me, after Armistice Day, they're happy to allow Hamas to take over our capital city every week. They're happy. Yeah? There's no opposition to them. They'll tell Jews, like we saw this week, you're openly Jewish, go away, yeah? Or you get nicked. Yeah? They're happy because Jews aren't going to riot and burn the city. Yeah? Jews aren't going to. We can treat them like shit. We'll treat the English working class like shit. They're not going to burn anything either, right? But we just got to let the Muslims do whatever they want. Yeah? Because they'll burn the whole fucking country. Yeah? That's basically how I believe they think. We can't police them properly, so we'll give them concessions, we'll let them call for jihad, we'll let them incite hatred, we'll let them do what they want. They can have whatever placards they want, but if you want to have a placard saying Hamas a terrorist, nick him. They took the lad with Hamas a terrorist placard, they've nicked him multiple times, they've attacked him. Even when he's come under violent attack, they haven't arrested men that violently attack him, they take him away. Yeah? They then tried to ban him from demonstrating. This is another Iranian dude, yeah? We look at this in my documentary, right? We look at all their actions against everyone and how they let them take the piss, yeah? So I then get arrested. When it comes to bailing me, they give me conditions not to enter the capital, not to enter inside the M25, and I just knew it. I said, that's what this is about. This is about controlling me. They fear me, my ability to organise men and organise patriots. They just don't want any opposition to Hamas. Just let Hamas have the capital. Sadiq Khan loves them anyway. Let them take over. And let them run amok. It's safe because no one's going to riot, yeah? They might riot, but we'll just stay out the way. We won't go in our riot shields. We won't police them properly. We won't arrest them. Just let them do it. And I was the one person after Armistice Day, they thought if he calls for people, they're going to come. And they didn't want that. So they give me these bail conditions. So I then get these bail conditions and I try to challenge them. And bearing in mind there's no evidence against me, I haven't done anything wrong. I know I've done nothing wrong. Yeah. I say, how can... First, when I met my King's Counsel, hired the best King's Counsel, I'm in a fortunate position because I have support now. People have supported my right to fight this. And we've won today. All of us have won today, yeah? That wouldn't have happened without the people's support. I'd probably be in jail now, getting 3 months. If the citizen journalists weren't there and I didn't have that legal team, I'd probably be sitting in a prison cell right now. Yeah? Like all the other cases that I've had. Yeah. When I know, so in this documentary, I'm showing people 2 or 3 cases. I prove the judge lies. The judge has totally lied. The media are used as a weapon. The judge tells a lie. The police tell a lie. The media pump the lie. Well, I've got the evidence that they're lies. Yeah? So I'm going to show you in this documentary, that's a lie. The judge has lied. All these top police officers are lying, as they did yesterday. They've been humiliated yesterday. They're all lying. Yeah. And they're not just lying about me. We go to a case in Wales where they lie about 6 other members of the British public. They get bail conditions not to talk about issues, not to go on the internet. Yeah, we live in a state where if you start talking about something, they come and fabricate a case so then they can control you for 6 months. They're not doing it to Hamas. The jihadists who are calling for jihad ain't getting any conditions. Yeah, anyone who speaks out against them is the people who come under attack. They go for the easy target.
Can you define what a 2-tier policing system is? 2-tier
policing system. So in 2004, and this is where I'll go back. I grew up in Luton Town. Yeah, I grew up and in 2004, I wrote a leaflet. I show it in my Oxford Union speech. In that leaflet, it ended up on the front page of my local newspaper. I called my first demonstration when I was 20 years old. And what I said in that leaflet is, whites and blacks are being religiously and racially targeted in this town by Pakistanis and Muslims, yeah? And the police aren't doing anything about it. I said, our daughters are being targeted with heroin as a weapon and then prostituted. That's grooming, yeah? It's what we now know as grooming. This was when I was 20. It happened to my cousin. So we're watching it happen to girls we know. And I'm thinking, the police ain't doing anything about it. These gangs, I named the gang, which was stupid. I named the Gambino gang 8 years later in the national newspaper after I named them in my local leaflet on the front page of Luton News. 8 years later, national newspapers are running stories about the Gambino drug gang who are affiliated with terrorists who use drugs as a weapon against the community. Yeah, I told you that when I was 20. Yeah, they use it as a weapon. Heroin's used as a weapon to destroy come into our estates and destroy them. They get our children hooked on heroin. They get our girls hooked on heroin, and then they prostitute them. It happened to my cousin. Yeah, so when all these crimes are happening, we're watching it, and the police ain't doing anything. I think, well, if I know that fruit and veg shop is the heroin dealer's shop where they launder their money, I know you can buy drugs from that taxi rank. If I know all these things, why aren't you kicking their doors off? Yeah, because in our estates, any of the lads who are making a bit of money, yeah, not selling heroin, because our community don't sell that per se, yeah, that's their drug in Luton, yeah. But if any of the lads are doing that and start driving nice cars, they're getting dawn raided, they're getting this. These fuckers are driving Ferraris and Lamborghinis, yeah. Why aren't you nicking them? Right? So I'd watched the whole of my life and seen, and I'll give you an example. I'm with my cousin in town, and his wife rings and says, "You better get back up here, hell's kicking off up here." Yeah, this is up Farley Hill, predominantly white working class council estate. We're flown up. It's one of the most. It's one of the most deprived estates in the country. We've flown up there. It's where my cousin lives. We've come out. As I turn up, it's like the Wild West. Yeah, there's loads of Muslims with bats and poles. There's all the kids from the estate. Everyone's fighting. Yeah, so the local youth and kids who are 13 and 14 and 15, there's loads of Muslim men up there fighting with them, right? And the police will come screeching in. And I'm standing there trying to work out what's going on. Police come screeching in. They run straight over and jumped on the little white kids, yeah? And I'm looking, and these fuckers have got bats. And I go, "What the fuck are you doing? What are you doing? Why have you jumped on him?" They said, "What do you want us to do? What do you want us to do?" I said, "Fucking get them. Nick them. They've got weapons in their hands. I've seen this my whole life. You could be outside a nightclub. You could be fighting as a young English lad. You'd be fighting with Pakistanis. Police turn up. They don't touch them. They're straight onto you. Straight onto you. So they police us all totally different. So when we talk about two-tier policing, if you want to know, grooming gangs, for example, were allowed to operate in every town and city. And we have all these reports from Rotherham, from Telford, from all these different cities, which tell us why. Why didn't the police deal with it? Because they were worried about being deemed racist, yeah? They let them get away with rape. 55,000 young British girls have had genital mutilation. That's a crime that carries a sentence of 14 years. Only recently has the first parent been done, yeah? So it's a crime that carries a 14-year sentence, but they totally ignored it. Why did they totally ignore it? Well, if they'd done the parents, that fills up every prison space in our country. They simply can't deal with these crimes, yeah? They've allowed it to happen. They've tried bringing in legislation and stopping children being allowed to leave the country. If they have warnings that it might happen to that child, they block them being able to leave the country because they usually fly them into other countries to cut their clitorises off, right? This is what's happening to young British girls, Muslim girls. They're literally cutting their clits off because they're not meant to enjoy sex. In Egypt, I think 90% of the women have had female genital mutilation, right? But 55,000 British girls, no crime, right? All these rapes, no crime. And I remember when the grooming scandal came out, I said, if you think this is the only thing they've ignored, yeah? I've watched it my whole life. So everything I've seen, I spoke about in 2004, in a leaflet, front page of the paper, I said, we're not, our community is treated with iron fists, theirs with kid gloves, we've had enough of it, right? We want the heroin dealers done, we want the gangs done, we want the rapists done, we want the racists done, the violence, all of this extremism we need dealt with. We're ignored, yeah? Fast forward on now. Why is the country talking about two-tier policing? Because what I've seen my whole life, you've now seen. You've sat and watched how they let them call for jihad. You've sat and watched how they're allowed to promote hatred. You've sat and watched them pat them on the back as they come down off on memorials. Ask them politely, can you please stop this, lads? And then you've seen them coming with batons on everyone else. Yeah, everyone's seen it. So Suella Braverman come out and spoke about it. What I've seen my whole life, and I talk about it because Luton's a blueprint for every town and city. When I was born in 1982, there was one mosque, so now 45. Yeah, I've seen the domination. I've seen the way the culture changes. I've seen the attack on freedom. I've seen the attacks on safety. I've seen it all, right? And I've seen the way the police don't deal with it. They're scared, yeah? So that's two-tier policing, allowing one community to get away with whatever the fuck they want while smashing every other community, yeah? And why do they do it? Because they're scared of them. In 2001, 2002, the Bradford riots. When the Bradford riots sparked off, which cost the economy hundreds of millions of pounds, yeah? When they rioted in Bradford, they rioted in Burnley, they rioted in Oldham, they rioted in Birmingham, they rioted everywhere, yeah? So they're constantly, and I'll give you an explanation again. They were building a mega mosque in Dudley, massive mega mosque, yeah? I mean huge, bigger than Wembley Stadium, yeah, in Dudley. Dudley has one of the most historic castles up on the hill. They had the minaret overseeing the plans were to overpower the castle. They're changing the face of everywhere, yeah? This is Dudley. We were opposing it when we had the English Defence League. So we thought, okay, they're going to play this call of prayer. We sent someone up onto the top of the building, which was going to be converted into a mosque, and we played the call of prayer in the middle of the night. Yeah, we blared it out. Let the locals know this is what's coming, yeah? So we blared it out. Muslims come out on the streets, rioting, right? I read that a police officer was attacked. I come home after the riots, read a police officer was attacked with a brick, a Muslim was arrested, and I'm reading on all these Muslim sites and left-wing sites that 200 Muslims, along with the imam, went to the police station and told the police, you need to let him go now, yeah? We can't control this youth. And we read that he was released. And I thought, nah, that can't happen. So then I had a liaison meeting. We used to have regular liaison meetings with the police when we wanted to do demonstrations, and we're coming back into Dudley. So I sat down with the coppers in Birmingham Police Station with their hierarchy. I said, can I just ask you something? I read online, yeah, from Muslim organisations and left-wing organisations that after Dudley, a copper was attacked with a brick and the man was arrested and then released with no charges. And they just looked. I went, that can't be true, can it, lads? And they just went, I could tell. I said, oh my fucking God, it's true. And they said, Tommy, we have to make a decision, yeah? One man's charge or many cities could burn. I went, what the fuck? I said, so the imam come up and told you, who controls these streets, the imam or you? So you let him go. And I've got on this recent documentary, a Palestinian violent protester was arrested in Manchester. Yeah, again they come out in their hundreds. The police let him go. They let him out of the van. I've got the video of them letting him go. They just went like that and they let him out. All the Muslims are there threatening to riot. Let him go. Let him go. And the police officer told me straight, we as a police force have to weigh up one man's charge against potential disorder that could inflame across the country. I said, so they've got you terrified, so you don't police them. They've had concessions since the riots in 2002. You've just shit yourself and sat back. You don't police them. You literally do not police them. And what we've seen, I've seen that across the country. I've led an organisation. I've gone in and met rape victims. I've gone in and spoke to witnesses across this country. What we've seen since October 7th, what you've seen happening in London is what's happening across the board in every town and city. Yeah, the two-tier policing, which now has become topical, the thing that I've gone back in my documentary and got me since 2009 saying two-tier policing, two-tier policing, two-tier policing, two-tier policing. What we've spoke about and tried to warn everyone about is now on the lips of every politician. Yeah, the journalists are talking about it. They know about it. So what we've cried about and tried to warn about and let everyone know about is now people have seen it with their own eyes. Yeah, but people still don't realise how big this problem is. How scared our politicians are, how scared our police are. In fact, I go back to, in the documentary, I look at 2011, I'm organising the footage is insane. I'm organising a charity walk, and I'm walking from A to B in London, yeah, for a charity walk for a young girl who's dying of cancer. And the police, Scotland Yard ring me up and say, we need to see you. There's a night before the walk. I'm doing it just me and my cousin. I say, right, we want to see you. So they come and meet me in Luton. I sit down, I say, what's going on? They said, you're walking tomorrow across London. I said, yeah. They said, you can't enter the borough of Tower Hamlets. That's what I mean, I can't enter the borough of Tower Hamlets. What are you talking about? So this is to show people that when you think in 2024 they've surrendered the streets of London. 𝐬𝐮𝐬𝐫𝐞 thinks it's happened now. Swella Braverman's talking about it now. I'm showing you, this happened a long time ago. They come and tell me, you can't enter Tower Hamlets. I said, what are you talking about? He said, well, the leader of the East London Mosque has warned us. I said, warned you what? He said that they won't be able to control the youth if you walk through that borough. I said, I personally don't give a fuck what that imam said. Yeah, if I want to get from A to B, and they said, yeah, but there's lots of mosques there you walk past. I said, I'm in Luton Town, there's 45. I walk past mosques all the time. What are you talking about? If I don't walk past a mosque, I'll walk past a mosque. You're not creating exclusion zones that I can't walk down the street. And they said, well, we're asking you, will you please not enter the borough of Tower Hamlets? I said, no. I'm going to enter the borough of Tower Hamlets. If I want to walk from, and do you know what, it's like a 14-mile detour. The way they wanted me to walk, bearing in mind I'm walking, I was doing a 30-mile walk or something, yeah? I'm walking from A to B, right? And I'm walking the straightest, quickest way. And that takes me through Tower Hamlets. I said, I'll tell you what. And then the next day, I turn up for the charity walk, yeah? And they said, okay, well, we've asked you. I said, okay. And you've got to watch this footage. The video went viral. I'm walking with the police. And I say to the police, we're approaching the borough of Tower Hamlets, yeah? We're at Aldgate. So literally over that road is Tower Hamlets. And the police stepped back. And as they stepped back, two men walk in with plain clothes and they walk in next to us. And we're going in this little alleyway. And there's two of them walk in. And he whacks me, right? So they provoke a reaction. And I've already told the police, I won't walk past the mosque. I'll tell you what, we'll just take a detour but not out of Borough Town. I won't walk past the main East London Mosque. I get your concerns. And I've told them that, and you can see it all on the video. They step back, 2 men walk in, they attack us, violently attack us. Yeah, I'd already spoken to Kev. We're doing a charity walk for a dying girl. I said, if anything happens on this walk, the police are there, hands up, yeah? So I put my hands up. I'm like that. And then the police allow the 2 people who attack us on camera to leave, yeah? And I'm like, they're like, stop there, and they put their hands on us. I said, where are they going? And on the video, I'm like, well, hold on, what's going on? They've just attacked us. Why are you letting them go? And she's got her earpiece in. She says, because I'm going to be arresting you. I said, arresting me? What for? I've just been attacked. What are you arresting me for? Yeah? They arrest me on the corner of Tower Hamlets. They create a situation with officers, undercover officers, who provoke a reaction thinking I'm going to hit him. So they'd have thought, hit him, he'll hit you back. Yeah? Then we nick him. All right? But I didn't hit him back. So the video that had 1 million views within 24 hours shows I didn't do anything. But then I've been arrested. And I wasn't just arrested. I was arrested, detained. Guess what? Bail conditions. Free for 9 months. Not to enter the borough of Tower Hamlets. At this time, we were investigating the 𝐿MT&x, who was the extremist who had took over the mayorship of Tower Hamlets. They ended up getting rid of him in the end. He was in charge of £1 billion budget. He took all the funding away from any moderate groups and was siphoning our council tax money, our government, our taxpayers' money off to all the radicals. Yeah, this all come out. They've done investigations, but we as an organisation were highlighting this at the time. I was talking about it at the time. So they banned me from Tower Hamlets. I had to go court. I was charged. They charged me. Same as this anti-Semitism rally. Exactly the same. They charged me. I had to spend 15 grand, something like that. I went to court 3 times. And when I got to court, after 9 months, it was kicked out. Just like today was kicked out. This is nothing new. I've had case after case after case. People got to see this, yeah? Now I've got a platform I can show them. But in 2011, social media wasn't what it was now, what it is now. But they banned me from Tower Hamlets. So that was back then, yeah? They were taking orders by the imam. Don't let him in. They'd let undercover officers violently attack us. These are the lengths that the Metropolitan Police were going for because they can't control them. They simply can't control them. When I went to organise a march into Tower Hamlets then, we took it for a judicial review. The Home Secretary banned our march. I took it for a judicial review. I challenged it. Got 6 grand, yeah? Went to court, and the police stood in court and said, we're not worried by the English Defence League. We can't control what's waiting for them. We don't have the officers to control it. And then the Home Secretary banned us from entering Tower Hamlets as a march. So when the Armistice Day come about, I think, no, I know you've got powers, yeah? You can ban them going near our cenotaph. I know you can ban their march. They daren't ban their march. They ban our marches. They daren't do it. They've never done it. I said, so you ban our marches. So obviously I'm frustrated. What's happened today, I've gone to court yesterday, anti-Semitism rally. So I'm going off on one. Anti-Semitism rally. I've been arrested. I've been given these bail conditions. I've come out. I've gone to court. And this is all on my documentary because the process is the punishment, right? I spent £60,000. The judge ain't giving me back the £60,000. He may have found what they'd done was unlawful, but what about the £60,000 I've spent? Yeah, doesn't matter, right? So they win anyway. I've been banned for 6 months. My rights have been taken. They arrest me on that day. They give me bail conditions. I go with the support of the public, with the best legal team to challenge these bail conditions. Justice Snow, the police officer, the judge says, no, you're not coming inside the M25. I'm like, how is that proportionate? The law that you used to give me a dispersal order you were only allowed to disperse me from that area for 24 hours. Now what you're saying is for the next 3 months until I go to court, I can't enter inside the M25. That covers so many different boroughs. Yeah, it's ridiculous. What's that got to do with what I was arrested for? But he just said, didn't care. So I appealed his decision, went back to court again. When we got in front of another judge, the judge said, oh, there's a note here that only Justice Snow can hear your bail application. I mean, I'm the same judge that's already told me no. So I went back at a cost of another £5,000, £6,000, £7,000. No, you're not coming into London. Then I went back to him again and said, well, I want to come into London with my kids. I'm entitled to a family life. Christmas lights coming up. I want to take my children to Winter Wonderland. No, you're not coming into London. Then he said, what I'm going to do is you can contact some specialist unit within Scotland Yard or the police. You can contact, his name was Shah, the police officer's name's a Muslim. And if you want to come into London, you can ask his permission. I'm like, how the fuck are you taking my rights away from me and giving them to PC Shah? Yeah, but that's what he did. So I thought, okay, and we show this in the documentary. MP, Member of Parliament, Andrew Bridgen is at an event. I've been invited to the event as a journalist, yeah, to interview him and interview other people. So I say to the police, right, I'm going to a ticketed event and as a journalist in a safe area, it's only ticketed. And then they say, well, and the judge had already given conditions. If I want to enter London, they have to speak to the organisers. I need to give the phone numbers, the time. So I've got to give the police all this information as a journalist. I'm going to cover this. They then contact the organiser, who's Lord Pearson's personal assistant, And he says, yes, Tommy Robinson's invited as a journalist. He's here to do a job. And they didn't let me. They refused me. They refused me on 3 things that 1 week, yeah? And then so I said to the court again, and the court didn't care. So my rights are taken away. There's no evidence against me, yeah? And for 6 months, they've had those conditions against me. And it was my daughter's birthday. My daughter is Luton mad. I'm Luton town mad. My youngest, actually. The other 2 haven't been so much. But my youngest is absolutely Luton football insane. She's my youngest daughter. And I said to her, darling, what do you want to do for your birthday? And on her birthday, Luton are playing Crystal Palace. She said, Dad, I've got to go to Crystal Palace game. So I thought, okay. I've missed their birthdays. I've missed their Christmases. I've been in jail, yeah? So I thought, I want to spend my daughter's birthday with her, yeah? So I hired a party bus. I booked TGI Fridays in Croydon. I took her friends, loads of little girls. We went, had the meal. They had a fabulous day. I obviously told my children at the time, I said, darling, I'm not allowed in London, yeah? I want to spend your birthday with you, right? I'm not allowed in London. I can't live with my kids anymore. I said, I want to spend your birthday. Well, you want to be there. I said, but I just want you to know that there's a risk, yeah? I don't care about the risk, right? I'll whatever the risk happens, I want to spend your birthday with you. And she said, I want you to be there. I said, so great, let's go to football, yeah? Fuck their stupid conditions, right? I've done nothing wrong anyway. How they're limiting where I can go as a family, I don't understand, yeah? So I've gone to Croydon, I've had TGI Fridays, we've gone to Luton match, I've watched the football, I've come out at the end with my kids, I've got, 14 kids with me, yeah? I've come out at the end and boom, they come from everywhere, the police. And I say to the police officer, look, I'm leaving, I'm on the way home. This condition, these bail conditions are not meant to prevent me enjoying the day with my kids. You've put these bail conditions on because I was reporting as a journalist. Like, what's this got to do with it? And then they nicked me. They held me for 48 hours. They remanded me. So they nicked me in front of the kids. And I've been arrested. I'm then held. I'm being remanded. I go to Croydon magistrates. Cost me another £6,000 of legal fees. I go to court. And again, I spent the birthday with my daughter. I don't know how many more birthdays I'll get to spend with them. Yeah, I don't know where I'll be. As I said, this film's Silence. They want to lock me up for 2 years. For me, spending their birthdays and important days with them is important for me. So I had a fabulous day, even though I got arrested. Luton scored a last-minute equaliser, man. And when the police nicked me, I sat in the back of the van. I said, lad, I said, I'm still smiling, man. I'm still fucking smiling. I'm still smiling. I was. I'm still smiling. Luton just scored. And then when I got my phone call, and what was the game the next day? When I got my phone call, she said, Dad, they lost because the team closest to us. So when I rang my daughter, I said, you're right, sweetheart. And she said, Dad, I think it was Notts Forest. They said, they lost, man. So I was still happy. I was still sitting there. I said, brilliant, babe. So I'm in court tomorrow, man.
Did you think they was going to send you to jail?
Yeah, I thought I was going straight to jail, yeah. Well, they did. They were sending me to jail. The judge's comments were, I won't let you out of here, yeah. But again, it's like, I haven't done anything wrong. How can someone go to work? How are you able to put conditions that prevent me from going into my capital city? And I tried on the documentary, you'll see, I tried every legal avenue, because people say, well, why did you do that? It's stupid. I tried and exhausted every legal avenue to get my rights back, yeah? There was no more avenues to go down. I cannot come into London, yeah? I then tried application after application to the police to say, I want to interview this person. I want to go to the Christmas lights, turn on my kids. No. I mentioned the football. No. I thought, you know what? Like I'm going. I'm spending my daughter's birthday with her. Fuck off. And then when I was sitting in there, I was in Croydon, man, and I was on the way there, and I got, fucking which jail to go to? And they said that it's the jail next to Belmarsh. It's like, oh man, and I was like, bruv, man.
But what does jail mean for Tommy Robinson? Not just your average Joe or Joe Public. What does jail mean for Tommy Robinson?
Jail means potential death. I stupidly would never ask for protection. So not stupidly, but I've got nothing to ask protection for. I'm proud. I'm proud of what I've said. I'm proud of what I stand for. I shouldn't have to be in protection. If you ask me, the jihadists should be the people needing protected in prison, but they're not. They're running the prisons. They've took over the prisons. So yeah, it's a worrying dilemma. I know that when I went to jail in 2017 for that case, I think that I was saved. I've lost my teeth. I've had attempts on my life in prisons. I was arrested on a 24-hour police custody for defending myself against a boiling water with sugar attack by an Eritrean Muslim who couldn't even speak a word of English. Yeah? He was planning to attack me in prison. I defended myself, and then I got prosecuted. I got off with it. I got not guilty when they looked at the case, and I was in fear for my safety. Don't put me in jail with them. You know who I am. Don't put me on the wing with them. Yeah, but jail's bad. But then again, I made these videos because I weren't sure what was happening. just saying it's my daughter's birthday. I'm not missing my daughter's birthday, and I'm not, and I don't, and I'll worry about the consequences or deal with them when they come. So yeah, I still so happy that I spent that day with her, and we had a great day up until that point. Yeah, Luton scored a last minute equaliser, and you're going to watch all this when I come out of court. So I get released. I get King's Counsel, the public again funded for a top King's Counsel. My law firm, 𝐼𝐶𝐭, brilliant. The top King's Counsel, his name was Alistair Williamson, unbelievable. I watched his. Do you know when you can watch someone thinking 4 steps ahead? I just sat and watched his intelligence as he destroyed the police yesterday. Yeah, so he comes to court and he gets me released. Yeah, he goes through with the judge saying, "Look, these conditions, like." And the judge agreed. When the judge heard the conditions, I'm not allowed inside the M25 for an offence of reporting, and he heard it all, he made the decision that he agreed. He said, okay, I'm releasing you. I wasn't going to release you, yeah, because you breached bail conditions. Now I'm releasing you, yeah. So luckily, I know I get for another judge, not the one who Justice Snow, who's decided the conditions. And how can they have the conditions are meant to be proportionate, yeah? It's not proportionate to ban me. What is banning me going to football with my kids for on her birthday? But when I walked out of court, on the documentary, we haven't edited it together yet, but I said, let's just understand what is allowed in London. And we've got them all calling for jihad, we've got them attacking police, we've got them calling for gassing of the Jews, we've got all this. And then it's me sitting around the table with my kids singing happy birthday. It's like, I fucking just spent 48 hours in Nick. But what's turned out today, with this verdict today by the judge who's crucified them, is that my arrest on the 26th of November was unlawful. Yeah? The attack against me with pepper spray is unlawful. The bail conditions are unlawful. They've took my freedom for 6 months. Arresting me on my daughter's birthday was unlawful. They had no grounds. I had broken no law on the 26th of November. Yeah? But the difference is, which I want to show people, is that what people have witnessed with this case, it's happened for 13, 14, 15 years to me. Yeah? They've done this continuously, non-stop. Absolutely continuously, non-stop. Wrongfully imprison me, unlawfully imprison me. I found a judge that's just stood up for it. It couldn't not after as I said, the importance of citizen journalists, the importance of the public knowing and watching the video of what happened to me. We've gone to court, they've lied, they've falsified evidence, they've changed dates on forms, they've changed times on forms so that it was legal, to try and make it legal, because they had no legal order at the time. The decision was made. They had never took into account my rights as a journalist because they can't give me the order. My Article 10, Article 11, my right to freedom of speech, freedom of assembly, all these different things. They didn't care. They didn't care. They thought they were above the law. And the judge today has ruled it was all unlawful. And as I walked out of court, I don't know, did I feel deflated? I should feel super happy, shouldn't I? I've just won a case. But I still think, I know they're going to do it again. I'm happy in the sense my film, the people who supported my fight for this have given me the opportunity to document it all, to show the public how they operate, to show the public that the process is the punishment, to show them that this is lawfare. This is planned. The police are used as a weapon. The judiciary is used as a weapon, and it's to attack anyone who stands up. And I've gone through this, and sometimes I look at things like, in a boxing match, you need the break. Yeah? And I've had breaks now, and now you've seen, I now deal with this. By I go mad with work for 2 weeks and I disappear for 2 weeks. I go on my own, I go on hikes, I go to different places, and to try and deal with preparing for what's coming next, because I know it's constantly something coming next. And in the last 48 hours, in one of these hearings that you see in the documentary, we go into court and the judge says, "What's your address?" I say, "Well, I'm not going to read my address out with these lot in court. There's journalists sitting there waiting." And I said, "I've had 12 Osmond mornings. My family are in danger." Yeah, a journalist. Has anyone got any opposition to him not reading out his address? The journalist says, "Yeah, I have. Yeah, I want his address read." And the journalist argues it. Yeah, I put out on the journalist next day. I'm thinking, why would I said to the judge, "I'll write my address down and I'll give you my address." But that journalist is going to want to write my address in the newspaper. Yeah, and then it's going to bring trouble to where I'm staying with my family, who live there, innocent people. Why would you do that? The judge rules, no, you've got to read out your address. So at that point, I've not called their bluff. I just said, okay, I'm of no fixed abode. Fuck off. And I said to the judge, "You're not getting my address." Yeah. At that point, my solicitor said, "Well, they'll probably remand you if you say that." Because I said to my solicitor, "I'm not giving them my address. Yeah? They'll probably remand you. And let me tell you why I won't give them my address." So 48 hours ago, 72 hours ago, I get a phone call from a lady who lives in a house. So these left-wing organisations continually try to put out addresses linked to me saying they're my address. They take photos of houses and put them out. Yeah, purposely trying to put pressure on me and endanger me. also before a journalist has wrote a name of a road where I live, where they allege I live. Yeah, it's not where I live. Yeah, so 72 hours ago, I get a phone call. There's a pizza van that's in a village that I used to live in. Yeah, but I have family members in there. The pizza vans rang me up and said, "Mate, there's 4 cars here. There's Muslims, and they've got a drone over that lady's house that was alleged to be where you are." Yeah, and I've already had to move this lady once before. I made a documentary confronting Hope Not Hate, who falsely alleged I owned the house. Yeah, that woman I took down to Nick Lowell's, is the leader of Hope Not Hate. I took that woman down. She wore a hidden camera and she went to approach Nick Lowell's wife and said, "Please, my kids are in danger here. Yeah, why are you?" Because Muslims turned up, they're looking for me. When the address was put out by Hope Not Hate, Muslims turned up in the car. She contacts me and says, why are people saying this is your house? So the pizza van rings me and says they've got a drone over the house. The woman then rings me and says, "What the hell's going on?" There's cars of Muslims at the end of the road. She's terrified. Then I get a phone call saying my old house, where I used to live, the 4 cars are also spotted there. So I go on the internet group for the village, and then the witnesses are putting up saying, with pictures of the men, they've gone to 3 properties that day. Yeah, they're in the village for 2 hours. The neighbours ring the police. They're all commenting online saying, "We've rung the police." Yeah, so they've gone to 3 properties. All 3 of those properties are linked to me. These are men that are these are going into a little village in a housing estate, driving right to the back of the housing estate to the location where my old house was, and they're flying a drone above it. They're flying a drone above my other family members' houses in the village, and then they're flying a drone above another woman who is alleged I live there. These men, you can look at them. I've got the pictures of them flying drones. They're visibly wearing full Muslim attire. The witnesses says they've all got headbands on. Yeah, I don't know what those headbands are. Are they jihad headbands? Are they Hamas headbands? Who knows? Are they ISIS headbands? Who knows what they've got? They've got little flags on their heads, according to the witnesses. Now, each of those houses already have markers for the police. Police didn't come. So I've now had to relocate. So the day before my court trial, which was yesterday, I'm running around, right, thinking these are probably jihadists. They're probably looking at drones so they can plan ways in and ways out. The neighbours in the statements say it looks like they're looking for ways in and out of the estate. They're looking where the roads go. They're scoping out this whole area. They're planning something.
How long were they there for?
2.5 hours.
Is this broad daylight as well?
Broad daylight. They didn't give a fuck. Broad daylight. And my concern is, our terrorism level is at the highest level now, yeah? The government have put it at the highest level. They're expecting a jihad attack any day, yeah? We've got 4 cars, 9 men. That's what the witnesses say, 9 men. Flying drones over 3 properties linked to me, yeah? All linked to me. This isn't a mistake, yeah? One of the cars has come from Ashton-under-Lyme. I've had to do my own investigation, which I've said to the police, yeah? I'll find these fucking men, but that's your job, yeah? I'll find out everything about them. Yeah, that I have my ways. I will know everything about them. I found out where the cars are, where they live already. 2 of them. Yeah, I've got 2 of their addresses. They're from different ends of the country. So what are they converging on outside properties linked to me? Now, the other neighbours who I went to then said, it's like they were doing it so blatant that they wanted you to know. If they want to scope out the area that's in 1 man, you're meant to turn up. If you turned up, there's 9 of them waiting in a car. God knows what weapons, yeah? Probably to do an attack against me. If I'd have turned up, which they'd probably say he will turn up, yeah? He'll come straight there if you're outside the family's houses. He's coming, yeah? I just didn't get the phone call till later. They'd gone by the time I found out. Then the next day, I then get a phone call saying there's car Muslims again outside one of the houses, yeah? And this isn't somewhere where Muslims are, right? There's bearded Muslims outside the houses. The woman's rang me up from the other house. I've now relocated her and her children, yeah? I've had to relocate her and her children, right? She's terrified, crying her eyes out. What the fuck is that? What am I going to do? What am I going to do? Can't go back to the house. So then the family said, we've rang the police. I said, what'd they say? They're not coming. I said, what do you mean they're not coming? They said, it's not a crime to sit outside the house. I said, it's not a crime to sit outside. These 3 fucking houses are linked to me. Could be jihadists, could be. Maybe they're not. Maybe there's an innocent excuse. But why are they flying drones over 3 properties linked to me? I've then sat and ran counter-terrorism. And I tell her they've all got headbands on with flags on. She says, yeah, that's not a crime to have a flag on a headband. I said, I didn't fucking say it's a crime. But we've got fucking 4 cars outside 3 houses that are linked to me. You're counter-terrorism. What's the fucking point in you? Right? When I looked at this number, it says, if you see suspicious activity, contact you. She said, well, if they've already rang Bedfordshire Police, what you said, then if they're not happy with what's happened, they need to contact Bedfordshire Police. I said, maybe Bedfordshire Police didn't realise they're my fucking houses. They're linked to me. These are possible jihadists planning an attack and you don't give a fuck. She don't care. How are you not caring? I said, innocent kids are in these houses. They might not be, but they might be planning an attack. You don't give a shit. She didn't care. I've moved that family. And as I said, I've come here to do this podcast with you because as of probably tomorrow, I've got to move my family, probably leave the country, yeah, because I don't know who these men are. Yeah, I've already moved them out of those houses, yeah, the houses that are in those locations. The people have left the houses in temporary accommodation. This happened the day before my court trial. So I haven't had a chance. I should be happy coming out of court trial. I'm not happy. I'm stressed to fuck. Yeah? I'm stressed to fuck. So even in that court trial the whole day, so I've then had to go on a full day of trial. And I've sat and listened in the full day of trial. I'm not concentrating on the trial. Luckily, they got torn to pieces, but I'm concentrating on knowing who these men are. I need to know who they are. I need to know everything about them. They haven't even rang me back, the police. They haven't even contacted me back. I've sent them pictures. And when I'm on the phone to her, she said, well, I said, I've got pictures of the men. I'm not thinking that they're Muslims. They're wearing full dresses. They're in a quiet village and they've got a drone over my old house. Yeah, which innocent members. I had to knock at that old house. I had to knock and speak to the people and just say, look. And the woman's like, I said, they've got a drone over here. It's not. I know it's not my house, but the thing is, really, if they are jihadists, they will not want to search Tommy Robinson's address because that probably brings up flags, yeah? They're going to get nicked under terrorism, yeah? They're going to alert people, right? I think it's pretty stupid what they've done, yeah? But if they wanted to, and they wouldn't want to use the internet at all because that's how they get caught. So they've gone down and flown a drone. They've looked at ways in, ways out, according to the neighbours, yeah? Who knows what they're planning? But the police should be checking it out. But they didn't care.
So you've had 12 Osman warnings.
12 Osman warnings. 6 Muslims are in jail for who went to kill me, yeah, with guns and bombs. This has happened before, right? And they didn't catch them either. They pulled their car over with no insurance. They didn't even search the car. Pulled their car over with no insurance. Then 2 days later, where it's been impounded, opened it up and found suicide vests, bombs, suicide notes, yeah, guns, swords. They were pulling up 5 of them. They got there 2 hours late, the clowns. They got there 2 hours late. So another time, my other family's house in Luton, when we were all in Luton, the jihadists who have all gone to jail since for terrorism, Roger Ibrahim Hansen, the ginger convert, the big juiced up one, him and another one were following my little cousin because the week before, I took my kids to a play area in Marsh Farm in Luton. And when I walked in the play area, I see the ginger jihadi. But I grew up with him. He's a fucking wanker, yeah? So I see him, and I thought, okay, I've got my kids with me, he's got his kids with him. So I looked, and he didn't look. So I thought, all right, sound. I've got my kids in the play area. He leaves. Kids are playing. One of the other parents come over and says, Yaks, look outside. I looked outside, there's about 30 of them. I'm like, oh, fucking hell, man. And I took the kids. So I said to the other women, the parents, I said, take my kids away. Yes, so they don't know who my kids are. Take my kids away. I went into the kitchen, I got a weapon. And I come back out, and I'm waiting. And then armed police come from everywhere. And I think, fucking great, yeah? So I put the weapon away because I think, and 5 of them come inside. Tommy, come outside. Let's talk, yeah? And I'm in a kids' play area. Police come from everywhere. They come for me. Someone had seen me grab a weapon. So they come for me, but I need to grab a weapon, yeah? And then the police have come. And by this point, I've already rang my friends, rang my family members. All my friends start pulling up in cars as well. And the jihadis, because it's my cousin's party. So they've spotted who my cousin is as well. They've spotted who I'm with. My uncle then rings me next week and says, after this, police escorted us out, took us out of there with the kids, yeah, escorted us home. So they were all standing with weapons in their hands again, yeah? They got base back, they don't give a fuck, the police don't do anything, I'm telling you, yeah? This is in Marsh Farm. I then get a phone call from my uncle saying, listen, that jihadi and that, they're following your little cousin, right? I've told him to pull up at the house. I said, all right, I'm on my way, yeah? And I'm with my mate, and we're Man United, I can remember it, Man United got Man City, I've got a bet on the game, so I'm sitting in the Sugarloaf pub in Luton. I said, bruv, they're following my cousin. We've got to get up there, yeah? So we jump in the car. As we jump in the car, I'm driving up there, and we had English Defence League balaclavas from when Lee Rigby was killed. We all had the balaclavas with EDL on the forehead. At the time, we were doing a video with these balaclavas over something. We're driving up there, and I said to my mate, I give him the balaclava. I said, brother, when we pull in this road, we put the balaclavas on before we pull in, and wherever they are, we've got to go 100 mile an hour straight into them, yeah? He said, yeah, he's a game, you've met him, yeah? He said, yeah, sound, all right? So we're flying up there to my cousin's house, into a quiet cul-de-sac of a non-Muslim area of Luton. As I come screeching in, they're there, the ginger haddies, but they've rang more at the time, yeah? But they're there. I come screeching in, jump out, boom, they leg it, right? We run at them with balaclavas on. We haven't got weapons, but we run at them. He's legging it, yeah? This ginger jihadi, he's like, loves death more than we love life. He's running away. As he's running away, police come from everywhere at the same time. And there's a video of me on this. There's a video of me, and I've got the balaclava on. Police come and they grab me. And I'm standing next to a car, and I've got a balaclava, and I say, don't take the fucking balaclava off. Don't take the balaclava off. They pull the balaclava off. Then all the jihadists are there, and they're all they all realise it's me. Yeah, they're like, fucking Tommy Robinson. Yeah, they realise it's me. And as they're arresting me, the police arresting me, I say, put the camera there. They've all got weapons. So I get nicked. We're outside my family member's house. There's gangs of them up there. By this point, there's about 10 of them up there. Yeah, in their cars. So they've come up in their cars. I get arrested. I'm down at the police station. They extend the time. They've got me for 36 hours. When I finally get to interview, I say, what did you find on them? Yeah? And they went, what? I said, what did you find in their cars? Because I'm thinking they've come up to do a job. They're following my cousin. They've rang their mates. They've come to do something. They're going to be tooled up. Yeah? What did you find? And I looked at him and he went, I said, you ain't fucking searched them, have you? I said, have you nicked them? And he went, well, they haven't done anything. I said, what do you think they've come for to my family's house? You've nicked me. Fuck, insane. You haven't, are you kidding me? And I was shocked. I said, you haven't searched them. Most of us left Luton at that point. I said, you haven't even searched them. You've got, and I was pointing at them. They had weapons on the footage. I'm saying, look at them there. Gangs of jihadis, as I'm getting arrested, are standing over there. That's my family's house, and I'm getting nicked and taken away. I'm getting nicked and taken away. You can hear my auntie shouting as well. I say, how is this happening? But they didn't even search them. So they didn't search them then. There's 9 men, 4 cars, flying drones over 3 houses linked to me. Police didn't even turn up. I ring the counter-terrorism. I'm going to put this phone conversation out. She didn't give a shit. She didn't give a shit. So I've now had to make a decision. I said, the last 48 hours have been an absolute nightmare. I'm having absolute murders with my ex-wife because I'm saying everyone's got to go. They've got to go. Yeah, we've got to go until we know who these people are. And I don't have any faith that they're even investigating who they are. Currently, as I said last night, I got the addresses for 2 of them. I sent some lads up to one up north. I rang some local lads. I said, get me a picture of the house. And when we finish now, I'm going to the other one to get photos of it so I know. I've got a private investigator give me every bit of information about the families. I need to know if they're terrorists or not. I said to the copper, you've got 40,000 on the watch list for terrorism. If you take these registration plates, which you haven't even fucking asked me for, I'm sorry I keep swearing. I said, you take these registration plates, you will know if these men are a threat or a danger to my family. Yeah, I need to know if they are. I need to know. They don't give a shit.
Who issues the Osman warnings?
The police. They come to you with an Osman warning.
So when you contact the police and tell them about this situation,
they care.
Knowing that they've already given you
12
Osman warnings.
12 official warnings, dangers to life, threats to terrorism. They named 𝐿-𝐫𝐫 was wanting me at one point. They've got 6 men doing 30 years for planning to kill us. And we've got 9 of them flying drones over 3 properties. The thing is, this woman, they haven't moved her. They've done nothing. Yeah? We've had to move her.
What kind of intel do the police need to issue one of them Osman warnings?
They need intelligence that there's severe threat to life. So basically, whereas they had intelligence before and someone got shot dead, yeah, and the police knew someone wanted to shoot them dead. So from that point on, it's called Osman. I think that's the fellow who got killed probably, yeah? They have to, if they have intelligence, if they intercept intelligence, so they come to, the first one I ever got, they sat me down, they said, right, we have intelligence that members of the Berry Park community want to kill you, yeah? And they named the Berry Park Muslim community. I said, give me that in fucking writing. And they said, and they sat there, I said, I want that in writing, yeah? They've gone back upstairs in the police station. They've come back down, they give me a bit of paper. They'd cut out the word Muslim community and cut out Berry Park. I said, look, you can't even tell the truth. Your intelligence tells me who it is, but you're too scared to even let everyone know who it is. And then they sat my wife down. She's 6 months pregnant. In the house when I started the English Defence League, they gave her one. I said, you're a police officer. How long have you been a police officer? 20 years. I said, have you ever sat a Muslim woman down who's pregnant and told her that non-Muslims are going to kill her for her views? And so I said, there's the problem here, yeah? There's the problem. But obviously I knew what I was taking on. I'm aware of these threats. I know by talking about this issue, people want to hurt you, yeah? But I didn't expect when I started this, the full weight of the police to be the people who are causing me the most problems and dramas. I didn't expect them wanting me. I know now they're probably planning to lock me up for 10, 15 years for something. That's my constant fear. My constant fear ain't these lot. Well, it is at the minute because of what's happened recently. But I carry that. I know that. I've moved. In the English Defence League, I lived in 5 houses in the first 2 years. Yeah, I know where I have to live in houses. I don't live anywhere. I live in Airbnbs. I live in Airbnbs. I go on Booking.com. I go in hotels. Do you know the cost of that? I can't put myself in one position. It's insane. It's insane. I live it, as I said, where I've been this way. I float from I've been in Portugal because I come here, I do my work, and I think I've got nowhere to stay. Because when I was staying at my mum's, or when I used to go to my mum's, they come to my mum's. I think I'm putting my mum in danger. Putting my dad in danger. Do you know what I mean? Whatever house I go in, I put in danger. Because I've got these clowns trying to activate where I am. And I don't have the trust or the faith that the police are dealing with it. Like this conversation with counter-terrorism, I said, what's the point in your number? if there's something suspicious, you don't think it's suspicious that 4 cars of Muslims are in a quiet little village and they're flying drones specifically over 3 houses linked to me. Like, what planet are you on, woman? But yeah, I don't have any faith, man. So as I said, I've come here, Liam, to talk to you. We're friends anyway. I want to have my say on this, but I'm probably not in the country now. So probably as of tomorrow, I've just had my mum, one of my relatives has got a medical appointment at 11 o'clock, so I can't leave till that.
Well, before I ask you what the public should expect next, films, documentaries, work you're doing, how you project your future, just on a side note, there was talk that you were going to debate Andrew Tate on one subject or another. Yep. Has that been postponed because you was on bail and had too much going on? No,
I had a lot going on, so did he. I think his lawyers advised him totally against it.
And what was the debate going to be about?
It wasn't even a debate. I've got my podcast, yeah? In my podcast, I like to start at the beginning and hear people's lives. And I've really enjoyed it, man. I really enjoy it.
Same.
Yeah, I really enjoy it, man. So I enjoy, because I'm inquisitive anyway. And I enjoy certain people, like 𝐬𝐻OWkins has probably been the most powerful for me. She doesn't moan. So I moan a lot. I'm sitting here bleeding my heart out moaning, aren't I? Yeah? She doesn't, right? She doesn't go on shows and moan. She's just got on with it. And when I sat down and heard her story, I thought, Jesus Christ, man, what have you been through? What has happened to this woman? What have they done to her? Yeah? People know what they've done to me because I talk about it and moan about it all the time. Yeah? She doesn't. So and then I've sat down with ex-Muslims. I'm really inquisitive. I've got some fabulous ones lined up. I've done an ex-police officer last week. But Andrew Tate, I know Andrew Tate. You've been out with me with Andrew Tate before he was Andrew Tate, yeah? Mm-hmm. Before he was this superstar.
Before he was Top G.
Before he was Top G, we went out together with him in London, yeah? I've been friends with him for years. I know him, right? So I know lots about him or the person he is. And I'd like to get to, who is he? Away from the bravado bullshit. I'd like to ask him some point-blank questions and really get into it. And really get into why he does that. Is he trolling? Does he actually believe that? Because he's always said provocative things, yeah? Because he's known that blows it up. So does he believe that? Does he believe this? Does he believe in Allah? Does he believe... I'd like to just get and have a real conversation about everything. And probably clash, because we will. Because I'm upset with a lot of things he's done, but I still know him as a friend. So I'd like to have a real... I think it'll blow the internet. I think that our discussion and the fact that I think he has respect for me, I have respect for him. But that isn't going to deter me from saying what needs to be said or asking what needs to be said. And that's vice versa on him. So he is very, he tells you what he wants. He tells you it's about Andrew Tate, yeah? I'd like to have those conversations. And I also know I've been in the position he's in, facing the full weight of the establishment on top of you, yeah? And he doesn't show that he's fazed or scared or worried. And I think it's impossible not to be. So that's impossible not to have. If that hasn't affected him at all, I'm shocked as a man. Yeah, it must worry you. You must have sleepless nights. You know they want to lock you up, not for a year, not for 2 years. They want you gone. They want to bankrupt you, which they're going to struggle to. Yeah, all these different things. So I want to have a real open conversation with him. No holds barred discussion about everything. Not just about, look, I'm upset about his conversion, yeah? I think it's dangerous. I think that he's influential. But not just about that. I want to just go through his life, man. Talk about everything. Talk about what it's done to his mum. Talk about what it's done to his family. Talk about how it's left them. Talk about everything. Everything and anything. And he's agreed to do that, actually. He said, yeah, cool. He's never once said no. And I know that from his point of view, as a convert to Islam, I was reading comments yesterday. When I got acquitted today, he put Top G under my comment. He put Top G, bruv. Top G also, bro, he's getting obliterated by Muslims who are fucking very angry. Yeah. Mm. And I know Tristan got the same last week, told he shouldn't be talking to me. He said, I'll talk to whoever I want. Yeah. Even if he was a convert to Islam, if he is a convert to Islam, he probably could bridge a lot of gaps between communities. His brother's Christian. Yeah. He was a Muslim. Maybe this was the intention of them. Maybe they wanted to bring everyone together against the cabal, against the matrix, as they call it. I think October 7th has really awoken everyone to what Islam is and really highlighted and probably put him in a difficult position. Because I believe that Tate, yeah, but I want to have all these discussions with him, man. So that was what I was hoping for. I hope we're going to do it now in May. I'd love to do it before either he gets locked up or I get locked up, or I get killed, or vice versa. So yeah, I want to do that.
Are you expecting to get killed one day?
I never expect to make it to 40. I never expected, and I think I didn't deal with it very well, and I still probably haven't dealt with those things very well. I said it in the early days in English Defence League, when they arrested these 6 men and they had turned up to do suicide bombings and attacks, in my mind, at that time, I thought, well, this decision's made from far higher up than fucking a load of dickheads in Birmingham, yeah, because that's what they were, dickheads. All looking up porn, and I listened to the whole investigation. I went to their whole case. They're morons, yeah? Absolutely, it's like the Four Lions. They got to the location we were at 2 hours late. There's a video of them walking through with all their, they've got their guns and bombs and that, yeah? But they're 2 hours late. They walked through where we were 2 hours late, the clowns. They had no insurance on their car. They got pulled over for no insurance. That's how they got caught. I was like, mate, I'm sitting there. So I guess in those early years, probably I felt like I was walking around with terminal illness at the time, thinking, I'm dead. Yeah, this is not good. Right? And at that time, I didn't just get the worry from that. I was getting an onslaught of abuse from the public in lots of places I'd go, because they were buying the narrative, buying the media mainstream. Now, everywhere I go, I get hugged and embraced and loved. The amount of love I was shown today walking through London was insane, yeah? That is a massive feeling for me. Like, people said, do you not get fed up of this? I said, mate, it always used to be a punch in the nose. Yeah, so no, I don't. Right? I'm quite happy taking a photo. I said, because it was always the opposite. So do I fear, my biggest fear is still the establishment. It's still what they're planning. It's still what they're trying to do. They took me through the courts. They bankrupt me. They made up an entire case. They fabricated it. They used the court injunctions to silence me, showing the public what happened. They now want to lock me up for 2 years. 2 years of solitary confinement. I might not make it through that. Yeah, I might not make it through another prison sentence. So they're the ones putting me constantly in danger. Putting me in court today, yeah? Letting every jihadist know he's walking in this court building at this time. I don't let people know where I'm going and at what time. I'm very careful about what I do, yeah? I'm careful about, especially certain things. So they advertise it. On the corner, they moved my court case last minute from one court to another court. They said for security. It's in the number 1 court, which is the main terrorism court. I went round the roads of my court yesterday. There were police, unmarked police, fully trained, fully loaded police in every entrance to that building. They're expecting a terrorist attack, yeah? I probably would be a main target, I guess, yeah? Unfortunately, for what I say, and I'm very outspoken, especially on the Palestinian issue. I've been very outspoken, so it's probably upsetting a lot. I'm worried. To say I wouldn't be worried it would be ridiculous. I'm also worried for the innocent families who are put in the way, who are currently probably shitting themselves with their daughter in their house because they've got a young daughter hiding currently because absolute scumbags who are affiliated with our government, it's part of our government, have outed these addresses purposely. It was a judge who said I had to read my address just months ago, yeah? What reason would there be to read my address in open court? You purposely, this is in my film, they're purposely putting me in danger and my family in danger. It would do the government like they wanted me banned from London. If I weren't here, it'd make their lives easier. Islam can take over a lot easier, yeah? There's no criticism.
And even though you've got the establishment and God knows who else coming for you, targeting you, do you feel like you've come too far just to stop?
I'd come too far a long time ago. And it's not that I've come too far. I wholeheartedly believe in everything I say. So if I wholeheartedly believe in everything I say, and I do, and I had this conversation with my ex-wife so many times, I said, no, you don't get it, yeah? She's saying, I don't get it about the kids. I said, no, you don't get it, yeah? I can see where this country's going to be in 10 years, 15 years. I know where we're going, yeah? I don't think where we're going. I know where we're going to be if we don't change this. Yeah, if we don't change it, if our borders stay open, if the hotels continue flowing, if migrants from every Middle Eastern country are still flowing through our country, being put into hotels and put into our communities, if the demographical change to this country and the birth rate change from the Islamic community compared to our community continue as they are, our freedoms, the level of violence, the level of aggression, the level of hostility, the way we're going to be treated, it's going to be so devastating to our children, yeah? And I think that, and again, if we all think about what our forefathers went through, they're the best generation this country's ever had. If we think about what they went through and why they went through it, why did 14-year-old children lie that they were 16 to run into beaches and die with a life expectancy of minutes? Why did they do that? Yeah, they didn't do that for fun. Yeah, now people are scared to even talk. They done that to make sure that the next generation, that their children and their bloodlines are going to grow up in a beautiful country with freedom and democracy. We've lost our democracy already. We don't have it. It's all bullshit. It's an illusion. And we certainly don't have freedom. Yeah? So we're under attack, not just from the government, from state, who want us all, whether it be 15-minute cities, whether it be the forced vaccination, all these different things, the sexualisation of your kids, taking away your parental rights, all these things are an attack on us. But the demographical change from the Islamic community in this country and the level of jihadism and the level of extremism and violence that's going to be perpetrated against the next generation of our country is going to be insane. Yeah. So I know I'm fighting against that. I know it's coming. I know that we're in a pivotal moment in this country's history and we do not have much time. We're in a total race against time to stop this. Yeah, we're seeing, and I'm encouraged. I'm encouraged by the election of Geert Wilders. I believe Philip de Winter. I believe I went to, was it the Swedish Democrats were on 1.5% voting when I started my activism 13 years ago. They're now on 25%, I believe. Yeah, I've seen total outsiders. Salvini in Italy. Salvini was nothing. Yeah, he then become one of the most powerful men in Italy in 15 years. Yeah, Philip de Winter will win the next Belgium election. Watch the MEP. Watch the European elections. And anti-European parties, anti-immigration parties are going to sweep it in the next few weeks. In the next month, they're going to absolutely sweep it. Geert Wilders says we should ban Islam. If the Quran, if Mein Kampf is banned, why is the Quran legit? We need an independent inquiry into the Quran that tells us, does this book incite murder and hatred against non-Muslims? Yes, it does. Yeah. Why is it being promoted in the way it is? Why are our borders open to people with alien ideologies? Enough is enough. We need to end it. But the election in November with Donald Trump is incredibly important because this is an attack coming from everywhere. On our identity, on the family, all these different things are combined together. So I think that the moment we're in is so pivotal. So I'm not going to back down. I won't back down. And I think that there's people in far more danger than me on every day of the week. They don't actually know where I am. They have to find me. So I don't know. I think it's so important. And I think that everything that's happening now is going to be looked at in history. The destruction of the West. They have took the most powerful, the best culture, the most successful nation in the world, and they've fucking destroyed it. Look at London. Look at our towns and cities. They've absolutely destroyed it. We're being replaced, purposely replaced. Our borders aren't open by mistake. America haven't let 6 million people in since Joe Biden took over. Illegal immigrants by mistake. They're literally standing the security services down. They're letting them come through. They're literally replacing us. They're replacing us with people who will be happy to be reliant on the state. I think showed us all that. It was an attack on middle class. It was an attack on successful young businessmen. They want corporations to control everything. People would have said this was a conspiracy theory, these sorts of things. I believe immigration is used as a tool against us. The Islamic community have been brought in to break down our resistance, to absolutely turn us all on each other. Probably play my part in it. But I am absolutely 100% certain where this country's heading and we have to stop it. So, yeah, that's why I talk and that's why I won't stop.
So what can people expect to come from you in the future? What are you working on and what are you going to release?
1st of June, I'm releasing my film, Lawfare, which is going to show people how they've weaponised the judiciary, how they come after anyone and the lengths they go to. And you'll be shocked. You're going to be shocked. Like, everyone has to watch it. And it's going to be humiliating for the Met Police Force, for the British government, for the establishment, for the judiciary. It's going to totally humiliate them. They managed to get an injunction against me on my last film, Silence, which humiliates them, but I'm not allowed to share it. I'll get 2 years in jail. So this one, they managed to do that through the court system. This one is going out on the 1st of June. I'm going to hold a mass rally and a march against two-tier policing, which everyone now knows is a thing. People who didn't understand it now know it. I'm in a fortunate position that people who hated me, who thought I lied, have now come round to realise I was telling the truth. They appreciate it. I've seen the shift. As I said, 𝐃𝐨𝐲𝐵𝐿's podcast, she fled the UK 3 years ago because she was hated 4 years ago. She's now loved everywhere she walks. There's been a massive change, a massive shift across Europe, across the West. People are fed up. So that's what you can expect from me. My film coming, my journalism, I'll continue. My podcast, I'll continue. I'll continue to challenge corruption, highlight corruption in every way. I will have episode 6 of The Rape of Britain. I love my work. I absolutely love it. I get massive fulfillment from it. Absolute fulfillment from it. Sometimes I get drowned by it. But that's what you can expect.
And on the off chance that anybody watching this has never seen or heard of you before and like what they've heard today, where can they find you?
You can find me on Twitter at 𝐻_𝐸𝐻. If you want to hear the unbelievable stories of what's happened in my life, I have 3 books. I'm writing a new book now. Yeah, the new book's called Manifesto. It's going to prove about the 1%. It's going to prove about their plans. I'm categorically going to prove here's what they're doing, here's how they're doing it, yeah? And then it's going to give my solution to the answers of what we need to do, yeah? So it's called Manifesto. I think it's going to be a piece that will be looked upon. I'm going to say this is how we solve it. This is what we need to do, because no one's got solutions at the minute. So here's the solution. You want to understand what we need to do? Here it is, yeah? So I'm working on that now, but you can buy my first 2 books at 𝐻𝐸𝐺.com. And again, when I've got my Twitter back, bang, my books are selling, because they banned my first book, Enemy of the State, went to number 1 multiple times on Amazon. My second book, when I released it, Silence, it went to number 3. It was on its way to number 1. They banned it. They banned Muhammad's Quran. I've wrote a book called, you can get it at Muhammad's Quran, that's with a K.com. You can buy that there. That is putting the Quran in chronological order. You may not think you need to understand this. You need to understand it. You need to make sure your children understand it. You need to understand what's happening, how it's happening, and not be able to fed the lie of interpretation, this bullshit. What is happening is with Islam, there's never been a debate about Islam being a religion of peace. The words Islam is a religion of peace have never been said in history until George W. Bush. I searched everywhere to try and find someone else saying Islam is a religion of peace. It was never viewed upon as a religion of peace. Islamic scholars said it's a it's a religion of war. Yeah, they all accept it. Our leaders throughout history used to warn. The introduction to this book is quoting the leaders, the best military leaders and the best political leaders of the West, talking openly about Islam, warning about Islam. Sir William Gladstone held the Quran above his head in Parliament and said there'll never be peace on this earth so long as we have this book. It's a violent, cursed book. We've got statues of Sir William Gladstone across our country, in our capital city, as one of the best leaders this country's ever had. Right now, they're calling him a bigot Islamophobe and they'd censor him and delete him. He'd lose his job. His job, and our politicians' job, is to warn the public of danger. Yeah, Islam's a danger to this nation. And people need to wake up. That doesn't mean again, I'll stress it, that doesn't mean every single Muslim. Muslims are born into something. Most of them don't believe every word of it. They treat it like a buffet, yeah? That doesn't mean an attack on every Muslim. I know there's some great Muslims, but Islam, Islamic doctrine, the teaching of Islam, they're going to endanger our country, our security, our stability and our safety.
Well, that's the one thing you said the first time we spoke. You said you're not anti-Muslim, you're anti-Islam.
Muslims are people. If you hate people, it's a problem, yeah? If you have an opinion of Islam, if I said everything I say about Christianity, no one's calling me a Christian phobe, no one's censoring me, no one's deleting me. In fact, they're celebrating me as an atheist. That's what they do, yeah? You're allowed to mock Jesus, you're allowed to do all these things. Islam's given this special protection, and it cannot have a special protection when you read that book. When you understand that each one of these attacks of jihad are sanctioned by the book. Everything they're carrying out, ISIS, Al-Qaeda, Boko Haram, all these different groups, every single thing that they do is literally to the word of the book. It's the book. It's the Quran. We need to know about it. You need to understand it. To simply think that Christianity or Muhammad was like Jesus. No, Jesus didn't kill anyone. Muhammad beheaded 600 people in one day. Yeah? You need to get it. You need to understand who this man is. If 4 million people are being brought up in this country to emulate this man, we're going to have a problem. It's a growing problem. And everyone's seeing that now, understanding it, but they don't understand it properly, which is why we brought out this book, which will make you simply understand it. It will give you the position that you can win debates around with the table. You might have parents. Everyone who defends Islam, who's not Muslim, know nothing about it. I have someone telling me, well, it's all right. What do you actually know? Read the Quran, have you? No. What do you know about Muhammad? Like 𝐿𝐮𝐬𝐿𝐾 was my ex-MP, yeah, in Luton. He held a Celebrate Muhammad Day in Parliament. Yeah, 𝐿𝐮𝐬𝐾. I see him in a chicken shop in Luton. I said, Gavin, can I ask you a question? What do you know about Muhammad? He said, I know Muslims love him. I said, what do you know about Muhammad's life? Just simply, bruv. What do you know about his life? I said, you don't know nothing, do you? You're holding a Celebrate Muhammad Day. Do you know he murdered 600 people in one day? Do you know he beheaded them after they'd surrendered? Do you know that he took the leader of that tribe's wife that night that he beheaded the leader of the tribe after torturing him for gold, burning his stomach, yeah? This is not my opinion. This is in their scripture. And then he married his wife that night. Murdered her husband and married her. Do you think he married her or raped her? He took her and raped her. He raped multiple people. Yeah, he had poets beheaded. So do you know anything about his life? He knew nothing. I said, this is the problem. You're holding Celebrate Muhammad Days in Parliament. You don't know what you're talking about. You've done no basic research. Anyone who criticises me has done no basic research. They don't know anything about the subject they're talking about, which is why no one wants to debate me on the issues. It's why no one sits around tables. It's why they used to get me on TV shows, but then the public would be listening, yeah, and realising, okay, well, I didn't know that. I sat down with Muslims who have come to interview me, and they say, I didn't know that. I said, you need to read up who he was, mate. And I've done a great podcast the other day with a girl who's very religious. She was wearing a hijab up until 11. Her granddad was an imam. And then she went to Dubai and she got married and she wanted to leave the man and the police come to arrest her to bring her back to him. He's an abusive partner. And then she thought, this can't be Islamic. How can this be Islamic? So then she started looking. And up until that point, she was a devout Muslim who defended Islam every way. And she said, when I started looking at what Muhammad done, I was so shocked. I've lived my whole life celebrating this man. And that's how she left Islam. But the problems she then had leaving Islam, we talk about all of it. But how many Muslims are there that blindly defend it that don't even know about it? Majority. The majority. And I don't blame them. They feel that Islam is part of their identity, is part of who they are, so they're going to defend it. And they don't want to accept that he was a barbarian, he was a murderer. Because if they do, then they've lived a whole life a lie. And how do they leave when their family don't want them to leave or would kill them for leaving? There's all these problems anyway. But I've gone down on Islam again, didn't I?
and I did say I weren't going to interrupt this time.
Yeah, sorry.
So the floor was yours.
Floor was mine, mate.
End it on a positive.
I'll end it on a positive easily. The positive is the public are awake. The positive is everywhere I walk, people shake my hand. The positive is look at the elections, look at the polling, look at the mindset, look at how Europeans are thinking. Nationalism's on the rise more than anything. Patriotism's on the rise. People are fed up. People have had enough now. You know, France. So Marine Le Pen will win the next French election, I believe, yeah? Marine Le Pen has been hated. They've stopped her every year. They've joined together to try and stop her. They've done everything to try and stop her. The French have had enough. The public have had enough. A Tunisian French imam took the flag 3 weeks ago, right? And he gave a speech in an imam and he said the tricolour, French flag, is satanic. 8 hours later, they kicked his door off and deported him. He'd been in France 40 years. That sort of action's unheard of. That our governments weren't doing that. They're forced now. They know we can't let them keep doing this because eventually Le Pen's going to get in. All the next political leaders of Europe share my ideology. So I'm happy. Yeah, I know Geert Wilders, I know all these different leaders. They're brave, they're courageous, they haven't backed down. And that's the new generation of leaders for Europe. Yeah, and if Trump wins, it gives power again to Hungary. So the future is ours. Yeah, it's not going to be a safe road. It's not going to be a road without chaos, but it's going to be a road where we, as in Europeans, will again defend our countries because we have to. And mass deportations, which was unheard of. People didn't want to talk about mass deportations. Trump's already said when he wins the election, you're going to see the biggest mass deportation that America's ever seen. Yeah, that's what we need now, mass deportations. There shouldn't be a negotiation. Every single immigrant that's come to this country and has committed crime, go, leave. It's gone too far now. Right? We have to protect our culture. We have to protect who we are. We have to celebrate who we are. We have to stop appeasing and getting on our knees to this bullshit. Yeah, so that's from my point of view. They've got to go. All the racists have got to go. And if they're countries, I watched a thing from Margaret Thatcher saying no, when she was talking about immigration. No, they can't refuse. If they do want to refuse, we give every one of those countries aid. Yeah, we give them money. Stop their money tomorrow. They're taking them back. All these people have these mindsets. It's not going to work. It doesn't work. So there has to be a strong message sent out to them. If you want to come to this country, embrace it, love it, and celebrate it, then you're welcome here. Yeah, you want to come here and call for jihad on our streets? Fuck off. You're going. Yeah, you want to come here and try and implement your system to overthrow our democracy? You're going. You want to come here and call for those things? You're off. That's what needs to happen. And I believe that leaders are now going to come into place in Europe who will want to implement those things, and they'll have to implement those things if they want to protect. We're in a race against time because of the demographical change to Europe. Through immigration and birth rate, we do not have long left to sort this problem. So it's either we sort the problem or we become a minority in every one of our own countries. And they are very dedicated and committed to implementing Islam. They've been attempting to implement it in Europe for 1,400 years. They've had their eyes on Europe, I think, in 1638, the Battle of the Gates of Vienna, where Islam would have massacred, on September 11th, where Islam would have massacred. There would be no Christianity, if it wasn't for the Polish Fusiliers stopping them. So it's like this has happened before. They've had their eyes there. They're closer than they've ever before. Don't listen to what I say. It's like Hamas leaders come out the day after October 7th and said, yeah, we're not concentrating on Israel. We want Rome. We want London. Yeah, the Jews first, Saturday first, then the Christians. So I know how they think. I know how jihad works. So, yeah.
So let me try ending on a positive note again.
Go on. Because there's not much positive, if I'm honest. The future ain't very positive. It's not positive for me. It's not positive for Britain. It's not positive for any of us. Yeah, we're in trouble. The sooner people just cut the bullshit, we are in trouble as a nation. Your children are in trouble. Yeah, your freedoms are under attack. They're not going to be here much longer if we allow them to keep taking them. We're in trouble. So the positive is we, throughout our history, are known for fighting. That's the positive. Yeah. When you wake up that lion, it's going to fight. Yeah. Throughout history, when in any battle or anything we've fought, we have never surrendered. So Islam thinking you're going to take over Great Britain, or all these Muslims thinking we're just going to steamroll through this nation, wrong. Yeah, you're going to awaken the public. I'm going to help on that way, and then we're going to fight. And we're going to fight to protect what's ours, and Great Britain is ours. Yeah, it's a Christian nation, and we will defend it.
And you, as a singular human being, from here you're going to go and you're going to move your family to safety. Once all that's taken care of and you're in a safe space, is there anything you're looking forward to do where you can relax?
I'm looking forward to the end of the Premier League season. I'm looking forward to the Luton game on Saturday, Wolves away. I'm looking forward to Everton at home. I'm looking forward to Luton pulling off a miracle and remaining in the Premier League. That's what I'm looking forward to at the minute. Yeah? I'm looking forward to it, and I wasn't able to go to football for 4 years. So my passion is, I love Luton, man. And my kids do as well, and it's a great time that we can spend together. So that's what I'm looking forward to. What I do to chill and relax, Liam, we're about to do it together, aren't we? I like to go away and hike and eat good food and go to gym. And do you know what? If I'd say to anyone watching this, if I could live my life again, I always say I have no regrets, yeah? Always say no regrets at all, but I do have regrets. The regrets are that if I was clean, level-headed, sober, the amount of more positive work I could have done. When I look back at videos of me, leading English Defence League, doing interviews, and I think, fucking hell, I was off my head, man. I wasn't in a good place, yeah? And the only thing that puts me in a good place, you see, I went 3 weeks ago without going to the gym, and I felt like I couldn't face my life again, yeah? I get to that stage, I can't face my life. I went in the gym for 2-3 days, boom, and so I train every day. I have to, yeah? But if I could do my thing again and live my life again, I would have made sure that from a very young age, I do it now with my son. Like he trains all the time. He's in a good place. I said, you want one lesson I'll give you for life, and I've only got onto it when I was in my late 30s, yeah? Is get fit and stay fit. If you're physically fit, you're mentally fit. So I feel when I was walking into court, even yesterday, I've got all this shit going on, but I remember last time I was walking into court facing prison, I thought, I can face this. I'm ready. Yeah. I'm in a far better physical position, mental position than I've been in. And that's simply by not going on benders, and that doesn't mean I'll never go on one again. It means that I'll try never to go on one again, yeah. But if I could say it again, that's what I like to do. I like to go to somewhere beautiful, somewhere nice where I can totally turn off. And when I say turn off, some people may think I'm ignorant. I turn off. Yeah. So I'm here now. The minute I leave, say I leave tomorrow, that's off. And I'll speak to the team. We've got work to do. I'll line things up. We've got a film to make. We're going to make a successful documentary on June the 1st. I've got to organise a march. I spoke to the police today. But I will switch off. And I do. And that's the only way I think I keep sanity. It's by switching off.
No, good for you. Well, I've known you long enough to know that you're a good man, you're a good father, and you're a good friend. And I'm very grateful that you trust me enough to come on here and share your story and everything else with me. And
you said there's a good restaurant nearby, Lee.
There's a real good restaurant nearby, and we've been here a while.
So it's 9:45, bruv.
And I'm hungry.
Yeah, I'm starving, man.
Cheers, brother.
Cheers, Liam. Thanks.